big welcome to Melbourne in Australia. It's finals day 2 of the individual apparatus, and we've already had one great day of finals action. And today you will be being mesmerised by the men's vault and absolutely captivated by the parallel bars and one of the pet events, the spectacular high bars. And for the women, it is one of the most respected apparatuses, and they say one of the hardest to master in the women's beam, and it will all finish off with the very colourful and dynamic women's floor. Welcome. So great to have your company as we start this finals day 2 of the World Cup Gymnastics in Melbourne, and great scenes here as Hisense Arena is filling, and we should be at a capacity crowd here for what will be a great day of 5 apparatus individual finals coming your way. I'm Shannon Byrne, and great to have the company of former Olympian and Commonwealth Games medalist Monette Russo, and Commonwealth Games medalist, he won gold in the high bars in 2010, Sam Offord. Sorry, the rings. Just gave you all a bum steer there. It was actually the rings. Sam Offord. And I guess Monette and Sam, after 5 great finals yesterday, some big news coming out of the Australian camp for the finals today in the women's, Monette.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the Australians, Georgia Godwin, has pulled out due to some injuries, but saving herself because Commonwealth Games is coming up soon. So we still have some Aussies who we'll be watching out for tonight, so make sure you keep an eye out on floor. We've got Alexandra Ede for the women, so and on the balance beam as well. Make sure you get on there for some great performances.
And a few of the athletes, great access behind where they're warming up. Sam, looking pretty relaxed and having a bit of a laugh and a cup of coffee.
Absolutely, got to keep the electrolytes and all the other stuff up as we see what we're seeing for today's finals. Men's vault, women's beam, men's parallel bars and horizontal bar, finishing off with the women's floor exercise. So Nettie's captured what we're seeing for the girls. Really happy to be seeing Chris Remke's on vault leading the qualifying going into our first apparatus final, and then Mitchell Morgan's doing the same on the men's horizontal bar. So can't wait for another night of amazing action full of Australian athletes.
And Sam, we do want to check out though and stick around. Make sure you watch every final. Something spectacular can happen, but we do know that we may see something extra special in the horizontal bars.
Absolutely, one of the Japanese athletes, Miyachi, who is countryman to our athlete here.
And taking a quick look at what was some of the great action from last night. If you missed it, there was 5 finals that we got to see the emotion. to Melbourne in Australia. Great to have your company for the World Gymnastics right here at Hisense Arena. Today it's the finals day 2 and it is the final day of competition. We've seen 2 great days of qualifying, a great day of finals action yesterday, and today, number 2, the individual apparatus final. We will see 3 men and 2 women's finals coming up. You will be absolutely captivated by the height and the agility in the men's vault, the parallel bars and the men's high bars. And also in the women's, it's considered one of the hardest apparatus to master, and it's the women's beam. And we will finish off with all the elegance, the grace, and also the skill of the women's floor. We are live from Hisense Arena, and what a great arena. It is state of the art. It is nestled in Melbourne Park, and a lot would know just how much tennis is played nearby, but it is such a special area, a rich history for gymnastic and Australian sports lovers. The site of the first Olympics to be held in Australia back in 1956, and that was the same Olympics where Australia's first gymnastics team competed. So a very, very special area and a very, very special arena already for those that have won medals yesterday in Finals Part 1. But it is all about today and Finals Part 2. I'm Shannon Byrne and so excited to bring you this final action from the World Cup Melbourne. Alongside me is Olympian and former Commonwealth Games medalist Monette Russo, and also Sam Offord, who won gold in the Commonwealth Games in 2010. Monette and Sam, what a great day we saw yesterday. Some outstanding performances, some new gymnasts coming to the forefront. What can we expect today?
Well, again, like last night, today we are going to see some outstanding performances. And as you mentioned, the women will be competing on the balance beam. And here we can see how the finals are going to run out. And there's going to be some spectacular routines. Really looking forward to seeing our Aussies again.
And Sam, I think for you and me and Monette, there is something that we saw in qualifications that we haven't seen before in Australia. Will we see it again?
We hope so. Men's horizontal bar final, men from Japan, Miyachi, competing a skill that not many perform around the world. So he showed us that 2 nights ago on qualification. Hopefully we see it again. But the big thing for me, men's vault, men's high bar and women's floor. Australia has the lead qualifiers in all 3 of those events. Hopefully they can stay there in that position for the sake of the Australians. Can't wait for a great night of finals action.
And talking about great finals action, yesterday there was some outstanding performances, including this man on your screen, Tazuyuko Takada from Japan. He features in every final yesterday, and again today he won gold in the men's floor, and also he won bronze, and it was an emotional day for many as well.
Absolutely, that was Kiselef there from Slovenia. Pretty overwhelmed with the fact that she's won a World Cup on vault, and that was fantastic to see. Great access and insight from our athletes, and we thank them for that.
And Monette, in terms of winning a medal, a first medal, a second medal, just to being able to win something, what's it actually like, and I guess those memories that you have?
It is putting all that hard work and effort that these gymnasts do every day back home in their countries, and performing it out here on the world stage is absolutely amazing and overwhelming.
Well, the crowd is starting to build here, and we are going to be at full capacity for what is going to be a great day of finals action here at the World Cup Melbourne, and in front of the live audience that has started to fill the stadium. This is shots of the Majestic Artists, which they've been thrilling us for the last 3 days through qualifications and day 1 finals action. And it's the performance by the Majestic Artists, which combine acrobatics and aerial artistry to create this daring dance fusion act. And it's skillfully choreographed by Kim Stokes and Les Livesey. So brilliant performance, just warming up the crowd. And talking about warming up, just behind in the warm-up access area, what would the nerves be like now, especially for some of these competitors? We're going to see them in a number of apparatus finals.
Absolutely, as we see the men's start list here. So this is the first group that we're going to see out, and we see Christopher Remke's the highest qualifier in the men's vault, finishing off the competition. So he'll be able to see what everybody else puts down before him, and hopefully make a calculated run at the gold medal. But all those athletes out there, they'll be ready to compete. But now it's just about, there's lots of nerves leading into it. Now the athletes should be nice and relaxed, knowing they can control their own destiny.
And Monette, for the women's beam as well, we have another Australian, so in front of her home crowd, but no surprise to see the 2 Chinese that have had outstanding finals series so far.
Yeah, we've got some great depth in this competition for the women's beam here tonight. And again, the Chinese, they're very dominant on this sport, but the Australian Alexandra Eade, she's competed well so far. She's had a good competition, and hopefully we can see her up on the podium.
All right, well, let's pause now and let's meet the two finalists to start rotation one.
2018 Melbourne World Cup here at Hisense Arena. In this session, we have the apparatus final for men on vault, parallel bars and high bar, and for women on beam and floor. And now please welcome the gymnasts to the arena. And starting on beam, representing Malaysia, Farah Ann Abdul Hadi. Representing Singapore, Nadine Joy Nathan. Representing China, Chen Yile. Also from China, Du Siyu. Representing Australia, Alexandra Eade. Representing Slovenia, Tjasa Kiselev. Representing New Zealand, Stella Ashcroft. And representing Brazil, Isabel Barbosa. And starting on men's vault. Representing Brazil, Luis Cavalieri Porto. Representing New Zealand, Caleb Ellis. Representing Japan, Kazuyuki Takeda. Representing the Philippines, Carlos Edrio Yulo. Representing Japan, Kazukai Asato. Representing Chinese Taipei, Li Chikai. Representing India, Ashish Kumar. And representing Australia, Christopher Remkes.
And a big cheer there, rightly so, for Christopher Remkes representing Australia on home soil, and he picked up a bronze in the pommel horse yesterday. He was the last and final competitor in the 8-man final and snatching bronze with his 13.400. But the first up, we will be going to the women's beam, and it will be a big night for Alexandra Eade in her first final over these last 2 days.
Yeah, we're going to see some great routines out here, and you know, she's a strong competitor, Alexandra Eade, on this apparatus, so hopefully she can put out a solid performance here this evening.
And talking a bit about the beam, when I speak to people around the arena, you know, when you think of it, a lot of people won't realise it's 1.2 metres off the floor. The length of it is 5 metres, but it's the width of 10 centimetres that really must make it, they say, one of the most, I guess, demanding apparatuses. What do you think on that one, Ed?
Absolutely. You can see that when the gymnasts perform in this apparatus, there's not even enough room for you to put your feet side by side. So one foot in front of the other, absolute balance is key.
So our first competitor for finals action, day 2, and she will be getting us underway.
So the Malaysian gymnast and Farah Abdul Hadi, here we can see she's starting her beam routine. Notice that the gymnasts will perform different elements throughout the routine. So 2 flight elements are essential. It's coming off there on her round off back layout. So the difficult acro series and being a little off center, but continuing on with the routine.
She has only a short time to get back on, doesn't she?
Yeah, so the gymnasts have 30 seconds once they come off the apparatus to regain composure and come back on to the apparatus, finishing their routine without incurring any deductions. Showing her leap element. The judges really want to see the creativity, confidence. They want to see their own gymnast style on this apparatus as well as all the requirements.
big moment for a lady from Malaysia. Actually was the second qualifier, reserve.
And we'll be coming up to her dismount here now. You can hear the bell signaling that she has 10 seconds to complete her dismount. So solid dismount there, finishing with a round off double twist, and very happy with her performance and coming into a finals, putting up a solid routine.
Said it a lot yesterday and also in qualifying, but sometimes just putting down a really clean routine right at the start of a final puts the pressure on everybody else. Some blemishes there, but she was fairly happy with how she went, and hopefully a good score, and as I said, puts the pressure on the fellow competitors to come.
And really very excited too to have made the final. She was the second reserve, and both reserves have been called into the action. The big news from the beam is that unfortunately for Australian fans, Georgia Godwin from Australia has pulled out of all of the finals action today. As Monette said a little bit earlier, any slight injury, they will be wanting to concentrate on the Commonwealth Games coming up in the start of April. So a big moment here for Farah Ann Abdul Hadi from Malaysia. She would be pretty happy with that coming in, despite the little slip-off falling off Monette.
Yeah, still the rest of the routine was quite solid from the Malaysian gymnast, and just to get in and to make a finals is a big moment.
We made the comparison yesterday when we were watching the men's pommel horse. It's, you know, one of those fickle apparatus. You can see lots and lots and lots of falls. So, you know, she has fallen, unfortunately, but you know what will happen in the rest of this final.
So now Nadine Joy Nathan from Singapore, second competitor in the women's beam final.
She qualified in 5th position coming into these finals. So just a few little wobbles on her back tuck there. Leap into aerial cartwheel, so we'll be incurring just a few minor deductions, and every little point counts, obviously, in finals time. We witnessed yesterday that just between getting a medal and receiving 4th place, there was between less than 0.1 score difference there. So everything counts when it's on the balance beam. Full turn with the leg up. See, the gymnasts are using the full length of the beam in this apparatus. A slight step on the landing there. Like she may have just jumped on her toe at the end there, but a nice routine from the Singapore gymnast.
As we head over now to the men's vault, and the men's competition just starting in this finals day 2 action. And first up, the gymnast from Brazil, Cavalieri Porto, with his first vault.
So just overcooking that one there. So Cavalieri Porto, 14.199 was his averaged qualifying score, putting him in 3rd place into tonight's final. Much the same as with the girls. 2 vaults that the men will do. Those scores will be averaged, and they have to come from different families. What I mean by that is the entry onto the horse, so from the board onto the horse, needs to be different. This vault, a Euroshenko entry, so that's like the backflip onto the horse, and he did a layout with 2.5 twist off and had a lot of power. You can see having to catch his landing at the end there and struggling away. So nice entry on. You see he goes a long way up in the air, feet a little crossed and apart, and then 2 huge steps and offline as well. So good difficulty on that vault. Not quite executing perfectly, so he'll have to tidy up his second vault to maintain his 3rd place, I would assume.
It's just standing there off the approach. The bar you can see there is exactly 25 metres, maximum that they're allowed in their approach run-up, just signalling to the judges. Green flag, and he's clear for takeoff.
Absolutely, so you will see said a different entry onto the horse, a different second half. Let's see what Porto has. So relatively simple vault compared to the top guys in this final, but executed that one well. So that was the Sukahara, like the round off or half turn onto the horse, and then a layout with 2 twists. But he did tidy up the landing a lot in that one, as we see a replay.
Like we mentioned yesterday, Sam, that most of the gymnasts perform their most difficult vault first and then doing their second vault slightly easier.
Absolutely. The second vault is the one that you probably train a little less because there's all the other apparatus you have to train. So he's executed 2 fairly good vaults on his feet. That's the key in the vault final. So good start from Luis Cavalieri Porto.
Back to the women's beam and a spectacular start from Chen Yile from China. She qualified in first, and we can see why just with her approach onto the beam.
Absolutely, that mount, it's just something different, showing her own style there, like I mentioned before, and it may not be worth a lot of difficulty, but it shows that she's got a lot of diversity, and we know that the Chinese are very strong on this apparatus. The very small frame, but she's got lots of power. Getting her front aerial into split leap series. Doing a stag leap there, throwing her head back, which is really difficult on this apparatus as you come into a blind landing, not seeing where your feet are going to go. So far, a very solid routine.
Really showing off her acrobatic elements and gymnastic leaps there. Again, just landing on the beam that's 10 centimetres wide.
Have this real knack, the Chinese gymnasts, don't they, Manette, of just making this apparatus look so easy.
Absolutely, they are absolute professionals on this apparatus. Coming up to a dismount. Beautiful triple twist dismount. And not too much wrong with that routine there. She'll be very happy, and that will put her in strong medal contention.
Well, her coach was so happy she wanted her to come straight off the side of the stage and not even use the stairs. And the heavy strapping on her ankles.
There we saw that spectacular mount again, just coming onto the beam, wowing the crowd.
Want to trust where you put that board, wouldn't you? Put it in the wrong spot, put it a bit too far away, and that mount could end up a dismount. But you see the triple twist in replay there. Pretty clean, very impressive.
So back to the men's vault, and Caleb Ellis from New Zealand with his first vault of the final.
So we see similar vault, or first vault, as the Brazilian athlete before him. So the Yurchenko entry, backflip onto the horse, and only doing a double twist compared to Cavalieri Porto's 2.5. So to give you a bit of a reference, that will be about 0.4 less in difficulty score. So he already starts a little bit further down the track, but you see a replay here. Nice form in the air. You can see throwing his arms open to show the judges he's preparing for his landing, as we see the replay again. So enough time to then open it out, see the floor. Small step on landing, so not a lot of deductions to take. Should be pretty happy with that for his first vault.
Just checking down on the tape measure on the floor there to mark where his approach run-up will be. And getting quite close to, you were mentioning always those tram tracks. You see the 2 big white lines, and his right foot, he did have that planted. Lucky the slight step back was from the left, because you don't want any of those slight deductions when you've done such a great.
So pretty happy with that one, Caleb Ellis. That's still fairly similar vault, so he does just a half turn onto the entry of the horse. So the round off, half turn on, and then a 1.5 twisting forward somersault off. So had to really push that one up. He just hit the horse and collapsed in his shoulders a tiny bit. We'll see here. Had to really throw that one up in the air, and then as a result, the landing not as good as his first vault.
Next on the representing China.
This arena, no stranger to making sure things stay in between the lines, is it?
Well, we head back to the women's beam for the 4th competitor, Du Yu. She won gold yesterday on the uneven bars.
She'll be looking to get herself another medal here tonight on this apparatus. She qualified in second with a score of 12.633. just doing that back handspring, back layout, step out, and off center there. So she would have been going off center from the start, slipping on that landing. Now it's all about gaining that composure, continuing with the rest of the routine and making it as clean as possible. Change leg leap to change leg half. Trying to connect that to back row elements. So you'll notice a lot of connections on the balance beam routine. Aerial side somersault. Lots of height on that.
Crowd favourite by the sounds of it.
Front aerial into leap series there. So far, the rest of the routine is nice and clean. There you can hear the bell. So the gymnasts have 90 seconds to complete their routine on the balance beam. That 10-second bell signaling to finish the dismount. So just that fall there, but the rest of the routine looked quite nice.
Just checking too on the leg. We'll see the replay here where she's slipped with that landing from the left foot. And the reaction there from the crowd was the exact reaction we had up here in the commentary box from Monette Russo and Sam Offord.
Yeah, that one's going to be a bit of a bruise tomorrow.
Yeah, she'll have a nice purple leg as a token to take away after the World Cup. But we're back to the men's vault.
And Kazuyuki Takeda, a man that picked up gold and bronze yesterday, first vault of the night.
Big vault. That's a big difficulty on that one. The handspring double front, so forward entry on, 2 somersaults in the tucked position, but he sat that one down, so that's at least 1.0 on the landing. It'll often even be a bit more because the judges will say that you didn't open and prepare for your landing. That's a specific deduction. So you see here, still holding onto the legs because he needs to get that rotation around and just sitting down. So the other thing, if you're playing at home, the athletes need to make sure their feet are the first thing that touches the ground, because if anything else touches first, 0. So that one I think is pretty safe. You do have to do a pretty bad vault for the judges to really nail you and give you a 0, but that's always the risk you take with that forward landing on the double front. So high difficulty, but it puts him back a little bit in terms of the poor execution.
Just getting a bit more chalk there for the Japanese gymnast. And as soon as we've finished this second bolt, we'll head back to the women's beam because we have our first Australian who will be in action, and you will hear a huge cheer shortly because we will be getting back over to see Alexandra Eade for Australia as we just watch the judges here all getting in the scores, and they're all looking at different parts of that vault for each gymnast. But a little bit of discussion here at the moment, and he has had such a busy schedule. He was in all the finals yesterday, and Kazuyuki Takeda will appear in all of the men's finals today. So he's now halfway through his men's vault apparatus. He will appear in the men's parallel bars and the men's high bars. And yesterday he picked up gold on the floor, and in the rings he picked up a bronze. So he's having a pretty good Melbourne Cup World Cup competition at the moment.
He is so far. Not the vault he would have hoped in the first one there, but as we said, the vaults are average, so the fact that you get another vault does give you the ability to pick your score up a little bit.
So not too far away from Takeda's second vault, and we just have our Australian competitor nervously waiting for the second vault to finish, and she will get a huge cheer. But Alexandra Eade just waiting for her introduction and her first finals appearance.
Consummate professionals, though, these athletes. Alex will know exactly what the case is, that she does have to wait for that second vault. She'll take her time, she'll be ready to go. Sometimes these weights aren't ideal, but they happen. So these judges just obviously clearing up and making sure that they have the correct score to go out.
You just hear there in the effects, I'm not sure if you picked it up, but are you the coach? So They're just wanting a bit more information here before Takeda can start his second vault. We have to have the referee with the green flag put his hand up to make it all clear. And
they're not sure what the hold-up is here. They're obviously deciding potentially whether to give that vault a score at all. I would assume that they would be. It would just be a lot of execution deductions, but judges appear ready now. So Takeda, he's been ready for a while. 25 metres of running and a big second vault to come, hopefully for him.
Great access. We have the youngsters behind him. A great view down this approach.
So the Sukahara layout with double twist. Until that one performed earlier in the first vaulter. So a much cleaner second vault. So we see the replay here. Said maximum 25-metre run, so he's got the quarter turn onto the horse, pushing up, nice form in the air. Step on landing and then another little wobble. But we are over to the women's balance beam now, Australia's Alexandra Eade.
So she'll be feeling quite nervous going into this. It's a lot of pressure competing in front of your home crowd, but she's quite an experienced athlete in these situations, and she'll be confident putting out a routine here this evening. A solid start to the routine. Such a strong gymnast, really just implements her landings every single time on the balance beam.
Only Australian that will feature in this final after Georgina Godwin had to pull out.
So her acrobatic series there, really nailing that landing, that back handspring back layout. Just a small wobble. The leaps. Again, so we'll incur a few deductions there for those wobbles.
Stay on. Key, stay on.
Staying on the apparatus is absolute key. So far, so good. So she'll be coming up towards the end of her routine here. Side somersault. Just not able to hold that one on, so landing with her shoulders really far back there. You can see she really fought to stay on the beam, unfortunately coming off. There's still the dismount to go. Does do an acro series into the dismount. And landing short on that double tuck there. Not getting enough rotation. So an unfortunate few errors in that routine for Eade. She'll be disappointed with how the performance went there.
You could hear some, I think it was coaches and perhaps fellow competitors in the background urging her on just towards the end with that series leading into the dismount. Come on, you know, giving her a bit of encouragement, but not quite enough. So effectively, it's 2 falls, isn't it, Manette, which probably takes her out of medal contention altogether, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would think so. And here we can see just trying to hold on onto that side somersault on the beam, but that momentum kept pulling her backwards.
And you just saw, like you said, just the toes trying to grip the edge of the beam. And if you want to think how hard that is, it's 10 centimetres wide. And with that momentum. So unfortunately for Alexandra Eade, she's probably not what she wants to hear now, but her coach is just going through the routine with her.
That is the head coach of Australia, Mihai Brestian.
So a very disappointed Australian Alexandra Eade. As we head back to the men's vault. And Yulo from the Philippines with his first vault of the night.
5th place leading into tonight's final. Let's see if he's got big enough vaults to challenge for the medals. Very nicely executed Sukahara layup with 2.5 twists, so we've seen a couple of those. But it was nice, tidy, tight form in the air. Only a small step on the landing, so spring in his step. He's got big enough for his second vault. As you saw there, so you can see feet and knees together nicely, perhaps a little separation, but only minor. good angle of the height above the horse there. Judges want to see you lift up off of the horse to perform the acrobatic elements after the entry on the horse.
We're talking about the height of the horse is already 1.25. So if you think of the exact last point of the toes up in the air, they are quite a distance from the ground.
Absolutely. It's about using all of that forward momentum you get from the sprint on the run-up into upwards momentum, taking it straight up and down so that you can spot that landing and not have to take too many steps. It's an art in itself. So, interestingly, that a couple of Olympic Games ago looked into a correlation between the people that ran the fastest down the runway, ended up with the placings correlating with that exactly. So it's about as much power as you can as you get to that horse, and then executing it when you hit it.
And hitting it at the exact right spot on the springboard, which I went and investigated today. Doesn't have too much spring in it. It's all about this power from this approach right now. Second vault.
So nicely in line, as we can see there, right in between the tram tracks. It's a handspring layout 1.5. So a couple of really, really big vaulters to come with big difficulty and probably a bit higher than Yulo. So we'll see whether a clean execution can get him in the medals, but you can only perform the vaults that you put up well, and he's done that exactly tonight.
So Carlos Edro Yulo from the Philippines, he qualified in 5th, and as Sam just mentioned there, still 3 from the top 4 to come, and the last competitor in the men's vault will be actually Australia's Christopher Remkes, and we head back to the beam.
And here we have Slovenian gymnast Tjaša Kiselev, and just falling right on that mount. So change leg leap onto the beam, but again landing really low there and just coming off. So a few falls in the finals here on the balance beam this evening. She did win the gold last night on the vault, so you know, should be looking and hoping to get another medal. We'll see how the rest of this routine goes for her.
It's a hard one when you fall right at the start of a routine, isn't it, Minette? Because you know, you're really thinking, I've got to get through this really cleanly to get myself into the medals, and you have a big error like that almost before the routine starts. Puts you in a different frame of mind, so hopefully she can finish cleanly in the last part of her routine here.
Absolutely. Aerial cartwheel. Showing her aerial elements.
Big sit down for a rest.
The judges really want to see the gymnast using the whole beam, so the whole length of the beam, up and down on the beam as well. Here we go to her dismount. Front layout full, and finishing with a beautiful dismount, nailing that landing. No steps there, just that fall at the start will be significant.
And I guess, Monette, she was a reserve as well that was called in for Georgia Godwin. So how much time does that give them in terms of preparation? And only finding out this morning, as we just see there in her mount, wasn't able to quite land that.
But yeah, like you mentioned, being the reserve, you still have to half mentally prepare. You never know what could happen, and you might get the call up. So still trying to stay in that mental state of getting ready to go out and perform.
As she waits next to her coach, gives a little bit of a smile and a wave as we look now at the scores so far. 3 more competitors to come in the women's beam final, but out in front with an impressive score of 14.466. And Chen, we did see her actually pick up silver yesterday in the uneven bars, and she's leading her teammate and country person in Du Siu.
That's actually a huge, huge lead in any kind of apparatus final, isn't it? That was 3 marks, so she's way out in front.
Absolutely. I think she'll be very, very difficult to beat here in the beam finals tonight.
As we wait before we head back to the vault, so after the first 4 competitors, the last remaining 4 actually get to have a little bit more of a warm-up for the vault, as they've been waiting around for some time. So we'll stay with the women's beam and get you back to the men's vault as soon as the final 4 competitors get underway. And Stella Ashcroft from New Zealand will be the second last competitor in this women's beam final, and she too has got the yips in her mount.
Yeah, it can be like this in finals sometimes when previous gymnasts put up routines before you and they've had a couple of falls. You know, that's kind of playing on your mind, and so the nerves really set in. And like Sam mentioned, you want to go out and perform a really clean routine, but expectations is really high, and that's why this apparatus is so difficult, because you need absolute composure while still executing the routine. Front summy, just a small step and wobble on that landing. Front aerial connected into split leap. Showing her artistry elements here. Aerial cartwheel, nicely performed. Split leap and putting her hands down there, so she will incur a very big deduction for that. Trying not to fall off the beam. So coming up to the dismount now. Back handspring, back tuck, 1.5 twist. So staying on the beam, but incurring a few big deductions there, putting her hands down and a few big wobbles. We'll see whether it can get her into medal contention.
You think there's every chance, wouldn't you, Matt, with so many falls thus far? You can see the close call that she had right at the start, but we've said it before, but really it's just about staying on in this final.
So with one more competitor to come, and that's from Brazil, Isabella Barbosa. We've seen it in a couple of the finals already yesterday in finals part 1, where the last competitor has actually been able to snatch a medal. So we'll have one more competitor in the women's beam to come. And we head back to the men's vault. We're at the halfway mark of the men's vault.
Kaisuke Asato from Japan, second Japanese athlete to feature on the men's vault. Should have a couple of really hard, really high difficulty vaults. Let's see what he's got. And that is ridiculously difficult. That is Sukahara double back with full turn. You won't see many people competing that one around the world. It's so hard to be able to get the power just to do 2 somersaults, let alone try and pull a full twist as well. And he's not hungry. He's using that honey for a bit of extra stick and grip on the vault. Athletes using different tactics to try and make sure they get good purchase on the vault. We see the replay of Asato here. So you can make your own judgment at home, but it looked like to me his hands hit the ground. So there's the full twist, pulling around to the second somersault, and his hands touching the ground. So if the judges deem that you just scraped your fingers, then that can be a small or medium error. If you put weight on your hands, then that's a fall. So I think that's what we'll see for Asato in his first vault.
And let's have a look at the leaderboard just between his second vault, because some of these numbers are important. Out in front, the man from the Philippines, Yulo, and Asato down there in number 8 still has the second vault to come.
So just out of interest, 14.233 the leader there with Carlos Edriel Yulo. Christopher Remke's in qualification, 14.833. So if he can emulate that kind of stuff out here in the final, he's the last competitor, and it's looking good for Australian gold, my friends.
And don't be fooled, Christopher Remke loves the pressure. He was final in the pommel horse yesterday and came away with a bronze. So just having a look here at Asato, who again has got the judges
He's got the judges working very, very hard. So they'll be looking exactly like we pointed out, whether the feet and hands touched at the same time. If they deem that his hands touched first, it would be a 0 vault. So we will see what they come up with. There is Australia's Christopher Remke, looking relatively relaxed, isn't he? Relaxed or focused, can't quite tell, but can't wait to see him soon.
Bit of a delay, so let's head off to the beam for the final competitor from Brazil, Isabella Barbosa.
So the last competitor up, she's got a bit of pressure on her to stay on the apparatus, as we have seen a few falls here this evening on this apparatus. Starting off with a solid acro series there. Back handspring, back layout, step out. Front aerial, just trying to cover up that wobble there, but I think that the judges would have seen that one. Nice full turn. Split leap into aerial cartwheel, connecting that one nicely. Change leg leap to change leg half, straight into the back tuck. So very nicely performed from the Brazilian Barbosa, and preparing for her dismount. If she sticks this, she's definitely in medal contention, I would say. Nice round off double tuck, and a beautiful routine to finish out the beam finals here tonight. She's very happy, and so is the coach, as they should be.
With all the falls that we saw, that's going to have to get her really, really close to those Chinese athletes at the top, I would think. But we are back. Suki Isato, the judges have obviously deliberated enough, given him the score for his first vault, and he prepares for vault number 2. Here he comes. So, bit of a yes from the coach. Yeah, it was very, very impressive. Handspring front layout with 2.5 twists. It's a pretty hard vault just to get enough elevation and height to be able to pull around 2.5 twists. Secret handshake. So perhaps ruining what could have been. Those 2 vaults are definitely high enough to challenge for that first place. Just didn't quite execute on the first one. This second one here, though, see, nice and high, beautiful straight body in the air.
And so part of that from the coach in terms of, you know, calling out something or a key word, is it something that you were actually able, when you both were in competition, was it something that you were listening out for, that he would help with that landing?
Technically, coaches aren't allowed to say anything. The judges, if it's deemed you're coaching from the side, that is a deduction, so you can't do that. And really, realistically, don't want to speak for Manette, but myself, I probably didn't hear anything that anybody was saying on the side. You're thinking about exactly what you're doing. You have gone through all of your prep work and everything beforehand. There are key things that you think about in your own head that you know are pivotal moments within your routine, but I don't think you hear much else.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Sam. You're in your kind of own little bubble out there performing your routines, and I think it's hard on the coach as well because they're wanting to give you that extra confidence in the routine, but in the end it's up to the gymnast out there on the floor.
Probably just a bit of a relief for themselves, I think.
I think that's what that one was. I think it was just a yes. Pretty happy that he was on his feet and nailed that second vault. So I don't envy the coach's positions, do all the hard work with the athletes, but can't control anything on competition day, just have to watch. So tough for them.
As we now have the 6th competitor for the men's vault final, Li Chi-kai from the Chinese Taipei. He qualified in 2nd, but the man on your screen qualified in 1st place, and he will go last in this men's vault final. Christopher Remkes from Australia, sitting back, watching what is in front of him. And we're watching closely here because Li Chi-kai, he qualified 2nd with a vault that wasn't too far away from the Australian. So 3 more to go. And the man from Chinese Taipei about to start his approach, vault 1.
So it doesn't get much better execution than that from the gymnast from Chinese Taipei, Li. So a good bit of encouragement from the coach. Happy with the first one. Job's half done. So Sukahara layout, 2.5 twist. You'll see this here, beautiful in the air. Opened out with enough time. Just a little hop on the landing, so excellent work from him. See it from another angle here. Looking for a really straight body, feet and knees, everything together. Perhaps a little crossed, but tiny, tiny hop on the landing. So judges appreciative there, I would have thought. Not a lot of work for them to do.
So we head back to the final, and Barbosa from Brazil, and that is a silver winning score there, 12.666, and she's actually picked up silver there. So the Brazilian And here is the full scores, the leaderboard as it finishes. So she snuck in on the last performance from Brazil to snatch that silver and has separated the two Chinese gymnasts. So Chen Yule from China has taken out the gold, and that's after she picked up silver yesterday in the uneven bars. The lady on your screen there, ecstatic. Number 2, bronze. Then now we'll go, and she's pushed down the other Chinese competitor in Du Yu, and Du Yu actually picked up gold yesterday in the uneven bars, so a very happy competitor there, and we've seen that a number of times. They've gone last and they've snatched a medal.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like we mentioned, it's about staying on the apparatus, and can be really tough coming in as the last and 8th competitor on an apparatus finals, but she performed well and she deserves that medal.
So back to the men's vault. Lee, our second place qualifier from 2 days ago, has performed a really, really clean first vault. He puts the pressure on Christopher Remkes with a good second vault here. A mental rehearsal. Let's see what he's got. So a bit simpler vault there. Handspring layup with 1.5 twists. So my suspicion is that he's got himself into second place with really clean, slightly easier vaults than a couple of the competitors. You see the Japanese athlete before him with double backs with full twist and more twist than that. So Japanese athlete with the 2.5 earlier. Now this is that mix that you try and have as much difficulty as possible with doing things cleanly. So nice slow motion replay here showing clean 1.5 twist. Bigger step out on the landing. But that will put him up towards the top half of the competitors, I would say, with those two well executed vaults.
So Chinese Taipei gymnast is the 3rd last, not too far away from Kumar from India, and then Christopher Remkes from Australia. So 2 more to go in the men's vault final. The women's beam has just finished, and gold to Chen Yule from China, silver to Isabella Barbosa from Brazil, and 3rd is bronze to Du Yu from China. So the women's beam, but it's the man, Christopher Remkes, who will be going for gold. And that honey there, that's not to put in his tea, is it?
It's not, no,
left
that
of the
might
screen.
be whether that's his or somebody else's, but as I said, the athlete's using that across a lot of the different apparatus. Actually, you'll see some honey feature in the parallel bars later to use for grip, so all purpose, not just for your toast.
Did you both use it? Were you chalk and
on my
honey?
toast?
Chalk, yeah, on your toast.
I did have it on my toast,
Vegemite man.
Yeah, a bit of both.
Did you guys use honey?
I
For
did.
the women's not as popular to use honey, so no, we didn't.
On the men's parallel bars, absolutely. You'll see sugar water solutions, honey, that kind of stuff. So, but enough talk about the sweets. Back to live vault, Ashish Kumar. Huge vault there. So similar to the Japanese athlete, Sukahara with double back. Didn't have the full twist in it, but coach was extremely happy there. It's a really difficult vault to land that one, because if you land just with your kind of your bottom or your shoulders behind the level of the line of your feet, then the vault's almost over before you can catch it, because it's so fast with the rotation. But he's done that one perfectly. You'll see he pushes that up in the air, wraps that double back around. A little stiff-legged landing. I was a little nervous seeing that, but seems okay. Let's see from here, this great angle from the side here, just opening out just at the right time. It's a pretty fine line between hands on the ground. Let's see the reaction from the coach. He knows half the job's done, though. That's the hard thing about the vault. It's got to be 2 good ones, otherwise you'll be watching the medal presentation from the stands.
Great reaction there from the coach, just showing you that the coach really does go through every emotion that their athlete is, probably sometimes even more. And the man from India, you even see the big white round circular thing on the left of the screen. That's a chalk
Bucket, we would probably
bucket.
call it that.
But a lot you see the athletes have their own sort of bag with them. So whether that's superstitious or it's just something that they feel comfortable knowing.
No, there's just different brands and different fills. Some of them come in blocks that you end up crushing into a powder. Some of them come as powder and they feel a bit greasier, so there'd just be personal preference. So the athletes wanting to cover every base that they can, they'll bring over their own honey or sugar water solution from home, their own chalk. They control every variable so that they make sure they get the best out of themselves.
So Kumar here from India, second vault of the night.
So nearly had that one. It's again that blind landing where you can't see the floor on the way out. Handspring double front. Just not able to get enough height. You need to get that vault up really, really high so that you can spin those 2 somersaults around quickly and open out and spot the landing. So you can see he's just had to hold on a little long, lands in that deep squat. It's hard to control that landing, so perhaps tucking a little bit early on that one.
And again, his coach just behind him. Just trying to will him to get that landing, and knows just how close he was to completing that vault.
Absolutely, had a lot of success on this apparatus. Medalist at his home Commonwealth Games in Delhi when they were there in 2010. So he looks like he's in line for a new leotard with that Indian flag just pinned onto his Leo, so he may harass his federation for one of those for the next competition that he's at.
Well, wait for this, because at the start of the approach, he hasn't been introduced just yet to the Hisense Arena. So some of the crowd wouldn't realise that the 8th and final competitor in the men's vault is Australia's own Christopher Remkes.
Now, this is perfectly placed for Chris. Chris loves a crowd, loves a bit of a stage and a good story to perform to. So this is just his style. And you can hear that crowd. I'm telling you, if he lands these 2 vaults the way we know he can and that I hope he will, this crowd is going to go absolutely ludicrous.
Finally got one.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic first vault. So we saw a couple of double fronts. So even Ashish Kumar with his second vault did the double front, but Chris has added the half turn. Scored a Dragulescu. Romanian gymnast was the first one to perform that one. And funnily enough, it's a harder vault, but it's almost easier to land because you can kick out and see the ground and arrest that momentum. So just brilliant work there, pulling into a tight tuck.
He is a very small character, but he's got so much power and so much strength. He gets so much height on this apparatus. He just makes it so exciting for everyone involved.
Absolutely. I think if you stand behind him, behind the horse, you can barely see him on the run-up coming up because he's pretty short, Chris, but geez, he doesn't lack anything for power or courage on this apparatus. So he will perform a Sukahara double pike, so similar to Kumar, but in a piked position. And if he just can put this one on his feet, gold medal.
So what can the Australian do here in the World Cup Melbourne final for the men's vault? You spoke about his stature. He picked up bronze yesterday in the men's pommel horse and was just looking over the horse, which was 1.15 metres. So the crowd here at Hisense Arena getting behind this Australian, Christopher Remkes. Final vault of the night. What can he produce?
Yes, that's it. That's enough. It's got enough difficulty in it, those 2 vaults, that those couple of steps on landing, they were big steps. The judges will take a bit of execution off him there, but no other athletes, I think, performing their vaults as well as Chris. I'm calling it gold medal, Australia.
Monet?
I think he's got it in the bag here, so fingers crossed. With those 2 beautiful vaults, he'll definitely be up there.
And the height that he has got on that.
So that's one of the harder vaults. That's what I was talking about with Kumar. So if you'll see with Chris, it's really hard pushing straight up in the air, big double pike. But so he's brought his feet in just under him a little bit. So he's had to take those couple of duck steps, really deep squat to catch himself. But he's done enough, I think.
So a nervous wait now. He was the 8th and final competitor in the men's vault final. And there he is, just saluting the judges. And the youngsters here have brought clappers, they've brought streamers, they've brought pom-poms, and rightly so. They've got a few Australians in action today in the finals. And here's the amazing access. We've gone straight with the camera with Christopher Remkes. This is the warm-up area. You think it's glamorous out on the floor. Well, it is something special to take you behind. And they all sit around, and the camaraderie there of the Australian men's team, they've got a good feeling about that. A lot of them getting ready for their next one.
So it's great, and we do thank the athletes for letting us have this access. But you saw when there are world-class athletes performed, great apparatus, and you can hear Coach Vladimir Vatkin was happy, but he wants even more. But great camaraderie between all the athletes, not just the Australians, but fantastic to see. So hard thing to do when you come in highest qualifier and then you're up 8th, but he's absolutely nailed that.
So a nervous wait here for not only Christopher Remkes, but the other 7 gymnasts who are waiting for these final results. And what has he done again here? Before we get to that, let's have a quick reminder of what happened in the women's beam. And it was a gold medal to Chen Yilur after she picked up a silver yesterday in the uneven bars. She's gone one better in the women's beam. She's picked up gold. And then Isabel Barbosa from Brazil, the final competitor, has snatched silver from Du Xiyu from China. So a magnificent performance from the Brazilian. And then Du Xiyu has added another medal to her collection. She picked up the gold yesterday in the women's uneven bars. So that's how the women's beam results finished. And this is the highlights here of what was a great beam final. A couple of nervous gymnasts, Monette, but the big performances that have especially taken the gold were impressive.
Yes, and the Chinese, Yi Liashen, she just smashed the rest of the field. She's got that super difficulty in this apparatus, and she again executed it perfectly, getting her the gold medal here tonight. And the Brazilian gymnast Barbosa just showing that staying on the apparatus does pay off, and getting herself that silver medal.
So it was a magnificent performance from the Brazilian, not only getting into the medals, but getting in between the 2 Chinese gymnasts. Just waiting for the final result from Christopher Remkes' final vault to come through, and we'll get you the results through. But before we do that, that's the women's beam, and a very disappointing end there for Alexandra Eade. There is no Georgia Godwin in that final you see in front of you list, and she had to pull out of her 2 final apparatus today because of injury, Monette. Not too much word that's coming through, but with the Commonwealth Games just around the corner, they probably don't want to give too much away with the team to be announced in the next couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think something too serious or walking down around the floor before, but just saving herself for Commonwealth Games in a couple of weeks. So making sure she's prepared 100% for that. And we'll get to see Alexandra Eade again in the floor finals. So she'll be definitely wanting to redeem herself on in that finals and on that apparatus, which is her pet event.
So let's take a quick look back at Christopher Remkes' replay, the magnificent performance for our final competitor in the men's vault.
We are awaiting confirmation of the score, but I'm just going to call it. Let's see the gold medal performance. Handspring, double front, kicked out, half turn. Had enough time for a cup of tea, I think, there. So those vaults, just to give you some perspective on that, where we are at a World Cup here in Melbourne, and so not every country in the world has come and is represented here, but those 2 vaults, they probably need to be performed a little bit cleaner than that, but they would be competitive at a World Championships or Olympic Games. So this is the kind of rare area that Chris is putting himself into. So again, a repeat of that first vault.
So has he done enough? Sam's saying yes. Results just being calculated, formulated, confirmed. And we probably are getting them hand sent to us at the moment. A nervous wait for not only Christopher Remkes. Here it is, and it's enough. The Australian has snatched gold in his final 2 vaults. The final competitor, Christopher Remkes from Australia, just shy of his qualifying score, but it was enough, as Sam Offord said, to take gold in this men's vault.
Absolutely it was. It doesn't matter. Those scores start from 0 in qualifying, but fantastic for him and fantastic leading into a Commonwealth Games at home in the Gold Coast as well, that he can perform under pressure. You had to do those vaults brilliantly to get into the final, and then you had to watch every single competitor compete tonight before him, all 7 of them, and then come out and nail those vaults. So it was tight in the end, less than 0.2 between him and the second placed Lee. So fantastic work, and he gets to enjoy all the accolades that he thoroughly deserves after a fantastic vault performance tonight. Australian Gold World Cup 2018.
So a smile on his face, thanking a few people that are very happy with what his performance was. And the Australian, after picking up bronze yesterday in the men's pommel horse, he would have been very disappointed as well, starting his finals day yesterday. Not a good routine on the floor, recovered on the pommel, and now he's going to walk away with a World Cup Melbourne gold.
Absolutely. He would have been disappointed with that floor routine because he's got enough difficulty and skill on that apparatus to have put himself in the medals there. But that's all part of the learning. And he's obviously learned from that pretty quickly in one day to be able to handle all that pressure and come in first place tonight on the vault. So great things for Australian gymnastics. Excellent work.
While the disappointment of Georgia Godwin and injury so close to the Commonwealth Games, well, great moment here for Christopher Remkes with that performance on the vault, strong performance on the pommel, and we know what he can do on the floor. Just had a disappointing routine yesterday. This is exciting times for Christopher Remkes.
Absolutely, and it bodes well for the rest of tonight. We had Alexandra Eade leading qualifier on floor, so we'll see her later. And then Australia 1-2, Mitchell Morgans and Michael Messia leading into the high bar final. So hopefully Chris has kind of given the confidence to the rest of our Australian athletes. This can be done, and let's get it done. The rest of these apparatus finals to come.
And how exciting for the home crowd, and especially the youngsters as well. Those that have turned up today, the first event for the men, and we're walking away with a gold. So that must be encouraging as well for the youngsters, just to show where our standings are, especially against some of the might from China and Japan.
Yeah, I mean, look at these guys. They're enjoying the atmosphere here tonight. They're enjoying the performances, and so they should be. We've got a gold medal performance from an Australian athlete and giving them confidence. I'm sure there's a lot of little gymnasts out there who go every day into the gym, and now they have so many aspirations to work towards.
And youngest memory of you both before you started or starting out, and what would it have been like if you were a youngster in the crowd watching this? Because you went on to be those that produced the medals and stood on the podium.
Pretty sure I was that little girl right there jumping around in the stadium, getting excited and watching the fellow Australians before me.
I think I remember my very first national championships, just watching the senior men. I turned 10 2 weeks before I went. I was pretty wide-eyed and thought, what is this caper? But it was just fantastic to watch just the senior Australians and then progress through the ranks. And hopefully this has got more people excited about the hardest sport in the world, gymnastics. So get in touch with Gymnastics Australia if you haven't already got involved. You can get involved at any age.
An exciting time as well, because this is the second time that Melbourne has hosted this World Cup, and we've got another 2 to be coming back to Hisense Arena. And why not? Let's show you again the men's vault final result, and a great performance from Australia's Christopher Remkes. I guess, Sam, in terms of those scores, to see 5 competitors over 14 as well, that means it's been a quality final.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And you see, so between 14.6 for Chris winning the event there, down to 14.0. So to give you perspective, those 2 big steps that Chris took at the end of his vault could have been 0.3 to 0.5 steps in terms of deductions. So it is really tight. He did have to perform really, really well. He had a buffer with the difficulty score being so high, but still had to perform under pressure. So, and great from the top, 4 or 5 athletes that did that as well.
So Christopher Remkes, gold in the vault, picking up bronze in the pommel horse. And the man that picked up silver, also picked up silver, Li Chi Kai from the Chinese Taipei in the pommel horse as well. So both of 1 and 2 getting medals yesterday in the pommel horse. And Asato, he had a pretty busy day yesterday as well. Wasn't able to medal, but was impressive in some of his performances. And that is your 8 finishing list. And we can look now. This is the silver medal from the Chinese Taipei athlete Li Chikai.
So to recap it, you see really nicely executed vault, but single somersault with more twists, and that is lower down in difficulty, not as hard to perform as Christopher Remke's vaults. So that's the key for these athletes now, going home, try and prepare and work on some harder vaults to be able to catch those at the top of the leaderboard.
We saw him in a number of finals yesterday. Oh, and that's actually been updated. So that's why we're waiting so long. And there must have been a protest in, because we have just had an update and the man from the Philippines has been awarded bronze. So just coming through that Yulo from the Philippines has been given bronze over the Chinese Taipei athlete. And we can head down to the medal ceremony.
This is the medal ceremony for men's vault. Now please welcome our medal presenters. Dejan Jovanovic, men's FIG judge and men's vault supervisor. Holger Albrecht, FIG men's technical delegate. And our event ambassador, Ali Reisman. And the winner of the bronze medal, representing the Philippines, Carlos Adriel Yulo. And the winner of the silver medal, representing Chinese Taipei, Li Chikai. And the winner of the gold medal, and the 2018 Melbourne World Cup champion on men's vault, representing Australia, Christopher Remke. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthem of Australia.
Special moment there, and the eyes watering for Christopher Remke as the Australian national anthem is played in front of the Australian home crowd. And Sam, what a special moment for you, Christopher.
Absolutely it is. He's training at the AOS in Canberra, originally from South Australia, and he's put a lot of hard work in, a lot of great results at World Cups. He won a medal here in this very event, in this apparatus final this time last year, and a couple of other medals in other World Cups. So fantastic, he can do it at home.
So Christopher Remke's there, silver going to Li Chikai from the Chinese Taipei, and bronze actually going to Carlos Adriel Yulo from the Philippines, after he finished on the same points as Asato from Japan.
Yeah, so they'll often look back and see which of the two gymnasts, if there's a tie, as to which one has a better execution score. So that's obviously the case there. And that was the hold-up before the medal. So lucky for the Philippines athlete there.
And that is a special moment for Remkes in front of this crowd, and the crowd loves it. So they have made their bonbons, or their pom-poms, and they are getting a good working out already. One men's final down, and Christopher Remkes from Australia has taken gold. And that concludes the rotation 1 men's vault final, but let's head down for the women's beam medal ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a medal ceremony for beam. Now please welcome our medal presenters. Michelle McMurdo, FIG Women's Judge and Beam Supervisor. Johanna Grutt, FIG Women's Technical Delegate. And our event ambassador, Ali Raceman. And the winner of the bronze medal, representing China, Du Siyu. The winner of the silver medal, representing Brazil, Isabela Barbosa. And the winner of the gold medal and the 2018 Melbourne World Cup champion on beam, representing China, Chen Yile. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthem of China.
And that is Chen Yile on your screen. She's just picked up gold in the beam. Second medal for this finals day. And yesterday she picked up a medal in the women's uneven bar, picking up a silver. So going one better in the women's beam. She has gold for China. And just a reminder, that is the end of rotation 1. Still so much to come. 3 more finals. Rotation 2 not far away with the men's parallel bars final. Hope you're enjoying the live action right here from Hisense Arena in Melbourne.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have another very special presentation to make. Another, well, not really a gold medal winner, because we don't have a gold medal to give her, but Anna, if you'd like to step up onto the podium there. Ali Raceman is joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for her. You're getting a lot of applause during this World Cup, aren't you?
I am. So thank you guys all so much for all the support. And congratulations to all the athletes so far.
Absolutely. Chris Remkes, we're all very excited being an Aussie, a local boy. I'm very excited about having Anna here today because she's won the GK Design Your Own Leotard competition. Have you seen her entry?
I have have not seen it yet. I'm supposed to be surprised like everyone else, and she hasn't even seen it yet.
That's not saying. What we've done is we asked everyone around the country to design their own leotard, and GK said as the prize, we will actually make that leotard. So this has been made in the US and flown out here. It got here Thursday, and it's here now for you to present the winning entry in the GK Design Your Own Leotard. What do you think?
I think it's beautiful. I'm excited for everyone to get to see it.
So the discussion is whether Anna's going to model it or you're going to model it after the next rotation.
And just a magnificent performance for the Chinese athlete here. And she's picked up her second medal on the finals individual apparatus for World Cup Melbourne. 2 great days competition for Chen Yile from China. And this is the performance that got her the gold.
And she has had an outstanding competition here, so she has finished her run for the World Cup event here. Won't be competing in the floor apparatus finals tonight, so to come away with 2 medals is an outstanding performance.
And the silver medal went to the final competitor in the women's beam final, and she really did have a brilliant performance, the Brazilian.
Yeah, she did, coming up as the last competitor, putting out a solid routine. She will also be competing in the floor finals tonight for the women, so we'll get to see her perform again out here on the stage.
And yeah, it was all smiles as soon as she landed that. She knew she had a medal, just not what colour. Separated the 2 Chinese gymnasts.
At the rate we're going, you want to be up last competitor, don't you? It's just been fantastic results, but that's a great way to showcase this fantastic sport. Anybody in any of those 8 positions can win a medal. Just got to put down your routine and put it down well. So good performances so far. So much live gym to come. Can't wait.
And great shots from inside Hisense Arena. And that's where the part 2 of this World Cup Gymnastics Melbourne is being held, right here in the very high-tech, state-of-the-art Hisense Arena. But we've also had such great access behind the scenes as well. So live from Hisense Arena, the World Cup Gymnastics has already thrilled us with 2 apparatus finals completed, and still more to come from Hisense Arena right here at Melbourne Park. The men's vault and the women's beam. The gold went to Australia's Christopher Remkes, and the women's beam, the gold went to Chen Yile from China as our second rotation for the night starts.
And finally, we have athletes competing on parallel bars. And now please welcome the gymnasts to the arena. Representing Australia, Michael Messia. Representing Japan, Kazuyuki Takeda. Also from Japan, Hidetaka Miyachi. Representing China, Tan. Representing Australia, Mitchell Morgan. Representing Chinese Taipei, Li Chikai. Representing China, Wu Xiaoming. And representing India, Rakesh Patra.
So there are your 8 finalists in the men's parallel bars. 2 Australians will feature, along with 2 Chinese, 2 from Japan, and the Chinese Taipei athlete Li Chikai that has just popped away his medal, his silver medal from the men's vault, and he is now making his way back out onto the floor. Mind you, we did say that yesterday, Sam, with the Japanese competitor Takita, won a medal, put it away, went straight out and did the pommel horse. So a lot of these athletes will be very excited to be making final after final.
Absolutely, and actually sometimes it's nice to not have a big break in between. You keep yourself warm, you just go from one thing to the next, and you do your best. So 2 Australians, as you can see. Michael Messia will lead off the men's parallel bars final. Mitchell Morgan's a little later in the program. The 2 Chinese and Japanese athletes are going to be really, really hard to beat in this. They have fantastically high difficulty and normally execute with near perfection. So they will be the ones to beat. We've got 2 Australians in it. Got to be in it to win it. Let's hope they can repeat the efforts of Christopher Remkes and get themselves onto the podium here in Melbourne. As you can see, Michael Masia just walking his way around to the parallel bars after being introduced to the crowd.
Yeah, nice touch up on the stage, then they're sort of paraded around the arena. Everybody gets up close access to the gymnasts. As we see Michael Masia just taking off the tracksuit, taking on the...
Yeah, so it could be like just
solution
a water
of
or
salty,
sugar water.
yeah.
It's probably just some water, because that can help just, so he'll spray the bar there and then kind of rub off the excess chalk that's on there, because it can get pretty kind of thick and rough. So you clean off what's on there already and then you reapply with some of the honey and chalk. So normally the judges, he would have to, as soon as the judges are ready, the judges would present and make him begin his routine, but they give them a bit of leeway to be able to do this preparation, because everybody after Michael now will have the time while the judges judge the routine to be able to prepare the bars. So they give the first gymnast a little bit of leeway so that it's fair for everybody. So he tries to just surround himself in chalk. Hopefully he gets a bit on the bar.
But yeah, it's really great, I guess, imagery of what actually goes into preparing the bar. All of these apparatus, as we say, and you guys have pointed out numerous times, these gymnasts are very, very brave athletes. You know, you're looking at the men's parallel bars, the height of 1.95 metres off the ground. The length is 3.5. And the distance between the bars can be sort of between 42 and 52 centimetres. So, you know, what we're going to see in this routine, you would want a lot of confidence that you're preparing the bar yourself and just having it as tacky to what you want to have.
Absolutely you do. And so, as you mentioned, they can move the width of the bars in and out. The coaches would have done that earlier. But Michael's prepared the bars, he's prepared himself.
Has he done enough for a medal here in this men's parallel bar finals? We're about to find out.
So you see skills having to be from the upper arm position, so the arms on the bars, as well as some felga work there, a little bend in the arm, as well as skills in support like this one. Stutz, catching that nicely in handstand. And the Makuts, catching that nicely, so the little hesitation there will get a bit of deduction, but it's clean work so far from Michael, which he is known for. Having to bend the knees to not scrape the floor at all. The judges will penalise him if that's the case. Tip hilt, just keeping the legs clear of the bars. A really nice routine in terms of execution. Just the dismount to come, double pike, and almost a stick, so that is fantastic work from Michael Masia. As I said, that puts pressure on the 7 competitors to come. So they know they've got to really, really hit their routine, and that can be enough to put them off edge. So he's done everything right in terms of trying to produce another Australian medal at this 2018 World Cup Gymnastics Championships.
High five and handshakes all around, including the physio Steph there. So they were very happy with that performance. And as you mentioned there, sometimes it's good to go last. It's even better to go first when you've got something like that, Sam. And now, Monette, you're allowing all the other athletes to try and catch you, so the pressure is turned over to those remaining.
Absolutely, and with this solid performance, hopefully we can see a very exciting parallel bars finals from the rest of the competitors in the field.
The man now that would be preparing the parallel bars is the Japanese competitor who featured in every final yesterday, and he's going to feature in every final today, Kazuyuki Takira. And he would have just seen Michael Masia's performance there. He got a huge reception from the crowd. He high-fives them as he comes up to prepare the 2 wooden parallel bars in readiness for him, but he is looking very, very happy and relaxed there. Michael, very happy that that is over as well. We're going to see him in the horizontal bar final as well, so he can sit back, relax, and start thinking about the next final he's going to appear in.
Absolutely. Hopefully he has to spend a little bit of time going up into the podium before he does the high bar. But the next 7 gymnasts to come on the men's parallel bars will determine that.
So we're now into rotation 2 here in finals part 2 of the individual apparatus World Cup Melbourne leg. Hope you're enjoying the action live from Hisense Arena. I'm Shannon Byrne, joined by 2 former greats of Australian gymnastics. former Olympian and Commonwealth Games medalist, Monette Russo, also gold medalist from the 2010 Commonwealth Games. He won it in the rings, which we saw a great performance yesterday from the 8 men in the finalists. Sam Offord keeping a close eye, keeping us very entertained and informed about what's happening in front of us. We're in the third apparatus final, the second rotation, following the parallel bars. Just a reminder, 2 big finals coming up as well, the women's floor and the men's high bars.
So great score there, difficulty of 5.4. We will see some higher difficulty than that over the course of this parallel bars final, but a good execution. We have mentioned 8.5 or above is pretty good at this level. So really, as we said, the time to build extra difficulty is in training. He would have come here knowing this is the routine and this is as hard as I can make it. And all you can ask is that you execute it well. So Michael's done that in this final. And he gets to watch what happens now.
As Takeda looks to start his routine.
So 5th place in qualifying 2 days ago. We'll be hoping for a little better than that.
Picked up a gold in the men's floor.
So a little bend in the arms and a little shy of handstand in those first 2 Felger moves. A giant double back, landing an upper arm, which often doesn't tickle. Tip held there, so you need to see a nice clearance of the legs from the horse, from the bars. I'm getting too excited. Underswing into the whippet, just building that difficulty. Little hesitation on the way to handstand. Again, just front side straddled 3/4 to the arms. You can see he's got the arm pads there to protect his skin a bit. He'll weave up into dismount now, the double front with half turn. So that's about as difficult a dismount as you can do on this apparatus. So in that first skill where he did the double back somersault, landed on his arms, that was a bit kind of untidy, and you could hear a really heavy whack onto the bar. So the judges like to see that you kick out nicely and smoothly swing out of it. So I'll penalise him there. You may see it in replay. So a little shy of handstand on that one, and then a bend in the arms in the second skill. And here it comes, double back and whack.
And only you could see in the commentary box here, all 3 of us just made a painful face then, grimaced with what he would have, that force going down on that.
It is pretty hard. That's exactly why the athletes wear the arm pads. It's a little bit for protection for when you whack the bar, but it's more just to protect your skin. That rough chalk that's on the bar there, it's not so much doing it once or twice in the apparatus final. It's about when you do it every single day in training. So protection of the athletes is the utmost responsibility and have the utmost care. So giving his arms a shake out there.
So giving his arms a shake out as well, because he's another competitor. Also seen Michael Masia, and now Kazuyuki Takira, the man on your screen from Japan. He'll be competing in the men's horizontal bar as well. Full program yesterday. And again, he's featured in the 2 men's finals so far, the vault, and now has just finished his parallel bars routine. As we wait now on our 3rd gymnast.
Hidetaki Miyachi, the 2nd Japanese competitor to come in the men's parallel bars, qualified in 3rd position 2 nights ago. And again, he'll have that nice combination of pretty high difficulty, and he'll look to execute well. So let's see what Miyachi produce on the parallel bars here. Starting with the whippet straight into the Healy, no hesitation there. Building the rhythm nicely. Fell to the 1 bar, that's big deduction for piking down there. Got support from teammates behind him. Nice support work. Into the double front with a big step, so a couple of big execution errors there, gives the crowd a wave, but one's tough, hard to judge on the fly, but Michael Masia in with a chance, I think, to stay ahead of Miyachi after that one with those couple of big errors.
Well, we'll wait on Miyachi's score, because as that routine was coming to an end, the result coming through from Takeda, he got 13.500. So Michael Masia out in front at the moment on 13.866. So he has done the best routine so far, but we are waiting on the score from the Japanese competitor on your screen now, Miyachi.
We can just see again that big pike he did during his routine, so definitely won't put him up there with the leaders, but still staying on the apparatus.
Great footage there. He's watching his own replay just as we are. So the mind's probably ticking over as to seeing, we're watching it, we're looking to see if we like it or not, what the judges might be thinking, and he's getting to have a look straight away, an instant replay on what he's just done as the third competitor in this men's parallel bars final.
You mentioned about full programs. This is the man who will do one of the hardest skills that we know of in the sport of artistic gymnastics, and he will feature in the high bar final. Can't wait for him to do that. So as I said, the Japanese and Chinese gymnasts were the ones to beat, I felt, in this parallel bar final going in. And it appears that Michael Masia has done that, leading from the front, but the Chinese gymnasts have such huge pedigree in this apparatus.
So the man on your screen just getting extra help checking out the parallel bars. They will travel the length, some of them, from one end to the other, so they're just wanting to check every inch of these wooden parallel bars. The man on your screen, Tan D, will be looking to improve on his qualification score yesterday. He was second, and he'll need to improve on his 14.700, because does that, he would be guaranteed a medal after the two we've seen that are in the mid to high 13s.
Yeah, so they're clearly a long way in front. Again, it's just that little bit more difficulty, but it's just done so effortlessly and perfectly. They almost seem like they're just light as a feather. The way they just move around this apparatus is super impressive. Parallel bars, and we saw the vault just before with the men's, with the quickest apparatus in a 25-metre run. It takes 3 or 4 seconds. The parallel bars is, in order to get some of these high difficulty skills in, it's a long, long routine and really taxing on your arms. So Japanese seem to have perfected it almost across the country. So the judges are ready for him. Let's see what Tan D can show us on the parallel bars. Similar start, the whippet, bit of a bend in the arms, but he's up in a handstand and ready to go. So look at that, effortlessly giant onto the one bar, so no pike down like the Japanese gymnast before him, so beautiful control. Felger half turn straight to handstand. A little bit of strength used in that one, only a minor error. That's very difficult. The front salt 3/4, and commentators cursed him. That's a big, big mistake. Call that a dead swing, where you swing forwards and backwards and don't do any skill on the end of it. So I think he just clipped or shaved the bar as his legs came together in that kind of release element. See if we can finish strongly. One last heely turn before winding up for his dismount. Double pike, little hop on landing, so uncharacteristic there. I'm sure we'll see a replay of it, but that dead swing, so it's called a dead swing when you go forwards and backwards without connecting any skills in between it. You're not allowed to do that. You have to move into what ended up being a kip that he did at the end of that skill, so large error, and the judges will not miss that.
Well, Tan D, we're looking for a score. He's going to have to beat 13.866 if he's going to overtake the Australian, who's out in front at the moment, Michael Masia. And the result coming through from Miyachi's performance, the Japanese gymnast, he got 13.466. So the Australian after 3 results coming through, is still in front, 13.866.
So we saw that replay there where he caught that skill and then he was supposed to go straight into a kip like that one, but he had the extra swing. So it should be 0.3 on either end, so it's 0.6. Big deduction.
Can see that he didn't get his hand placement right when he was going for that skill, which made him do the extra swing to get it back in place.
Well spotted, Burnett. So that beautiful swing, look at that form, legs tightened together, a little hop on landing. So apart from that, not a lot of blemish.
Great access here as you look at his face, Tandy, and looking at the replay and the drama, because we have 3 results through and D-Tan has taken the lead. So now a big cheer here for our next Australian gymnast.
Absolutely, Mitchell Morgan's first final for him. We will see him in the horizontal bar, which is his favourite event, which he is leading, qualifying, but he's on the parallel bars now. Great exponent on this as well, so hopefully he can do a similar routine to Michael and boost his confidence. Nice start with the whippet. Again, just a little arm break, but taking his time at the top. Felga half turn, just a little stutter with the hands there. Beautiful Felga. Nice giant Yamadol, just that's a 0.1 deduction, just the step. Thought he was going to do a Healy turn out of that one onto the 1 bar, but just pulled out. Just working into the couple of support elements. Looks like he's just tiring a bit, Mitch. Just dismount to come. Pull it around. Good work. So a little bit more untidy than he would have liked, but still a relatively clean routine. Not sure if that one will be enough to get him into the medals, but stayed on. He should be fairly happy with that one.
So just to clarify too, sorry, we put a very quick leaderboard up just before, but we wanted to get Mitchell Morgan's start of the parallel bars, and we can tell you that Tan D from China is out in front. He's got 14.500. Australian Michael Marcier is in second with 13.866, and in third is the Japanese Takeda, and he's on 13.500. So just watching Mitchell Morgan's performance here, and Mitchell Morgan's is going to need greater than 13.500 if he's going to get into the medals.
I think with a couple of those kind of steps, with the extra steps with his hands on the bar, even though they're only small errors, and that might put him just behind that 13.5.
And you can see, like we mentioned during the routine, he was getting fatigued, and in that slow-mo you can just see the stress that he used and the energy and strength to get through that dismount, and just goes to show how difficult this apparatus is.
And he's going to perform on the horizontal bars as well. So a lot of these competitors.
Sustained a flesh wound there. Good thing the coaches are on the ball. So that's those rough parallel bars taking their toll, but good work for Mitch. He will concentrate all of his efforts now onto the horizontal bar. As I said, leading qualifier, has a really big routine, lots of impressive release moves. So he'll have the crowd on the edge of their seats.
So here we have it. The score so far, we've hit the halfway mark of the men's parallel bars. Just waiting on the score there from the Australian Mitchell Morgans. And again, he needs to get over 13.500. Has he done enough? And it is the man out in front with an impressive 14.500 in Tan D. The man on your screen here, Li Chi Kai, the Chinese Taipei gymnast.
So 4th place, leading into the final. So he's obviously got the routine that's good enough to get near the medals. See if he can produce it again today. Clean start. Front salt straddled 3/4 to upper arm.
Already picked up a silver Li Chi Kai, the men's vault.
go with his silver on the pommel horse from yesterday also. So it's consistent performances because he's nice parallel bars routine too. A little grunt from him there as he gets a little bit of extra effort out of himself. Double front half turn. He's had a very successful 2018 Melbourne World Cup.
He's happy with himself. Some fist pumps, and he did that after the vault as well. He knows he's done all he can, and he'll have to sit back and now to wait for that result to come through. And Monette, very similar to we saw from Morgan's from Australia. I mentioned just fatiguing at the end. Last bit of effort, just willing himself and giving everything he got there to hit that dismount.
Yeah, and to get through that routine and come out with a nice dismount at the end. A great effort from the Chinese Taipei gymnast.
So you see catching that one in handstand really nicely. They've got a swing all the way to handstand. Great action out of the effects mic there. You can see that he's got to get that last bit of energy out of himself, as I mentioned at the start. Parallel bars, long routines. So there we are, Vladimir Vatkin, who's Mitchell Morgan's coach, national team coach as well, coach of our very first world champion, Felipe Rizzo. Spent a bit of time coaching in Brazil also with our national team in the lead up to Rio, but we managed to get him back here to Australia, and he's giving some tips to Mitchell Morgan's on his parallel bars work. What we see here, difficulty 5.5. So yeah, slightly low into the 7s for the execution. So that's where he'll tidy up and improve his score.
So just shy of third place there, Mitchell Morgan's, 13.433, and he needed to get 13.500 and above to get into medal contention so far. So with that result coming through from Mitchell Morgan's, we're still waiting on Li Chi Kai. But as it sits at the moment, Tan Di from China is out in front on 14.500. The Australian Michael Marcia is in silver medal at the moment. Second last competitor. Let's see what we can get from this Chinese gymnast. Second last competitor in the men's parallel bars final.
This could be something special. Leader from day one. Front uprise down, but really difficult skill. Front uprise Stutz also. It's hard enough to do those in the support position, let alone from the arms, so great work.
Wu Xiaoming from China.
A little low on that one. Perhaps judges taking some deduction if they thought he didn't control that landing onto the bar well, but should only be a small deduction, if any. Oh, you're flirting with danger there. You need to keep the legs off the bars. 1.0 deduction if the judges think he did touch. I think he's safe. Dismounted come, double pike, big hop on the landing, but that's got enough difficulty in it and executed well enough that I think that is going to take him into the gold medal position with one athlete to come.
So he needs better than 14.500, and if he does that, he'll overtake his Chinese teammate in Tan Di.
He did score 14.733 in qualifying, so he can score higher than the 14.5 that he needs. See what the judges say. Really, there's only probably 0.1 errors, and no big ones until the 0.3 hop on the landing, I would suspect. So
Great travel down that parallel bar then.
Absolutely.
And he made it one end to the other. Impressive.
Can be a bit scary if you do get pretty close to the end. You don't want to fall off.
Yes, there's definitely an end mark, isn't there? Just watching the replay here from the Chinese gymnast, Wu Xiaoming. He is the second last competitor. Waiting on the result for him. And he does need greater than 14.500 if he is going to take the gold medal performance leaderboard, with one competitor to go in Rakesh Patra from India.
So a wave to the crowd, perhaps a wave to home. You should be happy with that. As I said, a bit of a heavy kind of landing in that upper arm skill, hence why he's giving the old self-massage there.
And again, this is his last final for the evening. The last time we're going to see him, and 14.833 is enough. He has taken over the gold medal position from the Chinese gymnast Tan Di with 14.50, making him slip down to silver.
So the only competitor to have their say, Rakesh Patra, to come. 8th and final competitor. Beautiful Suarez to start. Shocked the crowd, I don't think they were expecting that one. So you can see he's got the bars really, really wide, which is all personal preference, but he does have, that's strangely very wide. He's a well-built individual. Saw him on the rings final. Using a lot of the Moy and Tippelt work, the stuff underneath the bar. Just kept that Healy in line. Trust me when I say you don't want to hit your heel on these bars. So just rushing that dismount a little bit, not taking the swing all the way up, so not very high, but he did pull it around enough to get onto his feet. I think he's chastising himself a little bit for that Healy, but good performance.
So that concludes the rotation 2 in the men's parallel bar final. We have to look to see what Patrick can bring up on the score, but will it be enough, Sam? I'm going to ask too for Michael Marcia. He still sits in third, 13.866. Li Chi Kai from Chinese Taipei, 13.800. So Marcia in bronze with 0.066 of an advantage. That's how close bronze 3rd and 4th was. So do you think here that we might see those 3 medalists safe with the results we've got?
Australian bronze. I think
Australian
that's how that's
bronze.
Go.
There you go. All right, well, before we get these final results through from Patra, let's head down to James Sherry, who's amongst the action. He has a very special guest.
Ali Raisman, you've been doing an absolutely sensational job over the, last couple of years as the ambassador of the World Cup. Any good performances you've seen here today in the finals?
Yeah, I thought Chris's vault was unbelievable. He's so powerful, so strong. I can't wait to watch him on floor.
What about in the women's beam? The beam was, the mount by Chen was spectacular. I haven't seen anything like that before.
I know, I noticed that the mounts on beam have been so creative. I've been watching them. I have no idea how they do them, but it's very impressive.
I really appreciate as the ambassador that you're here every day. I see you waving and signing autographs and taking photos with the kids. You actually went out to some junior clubs and spent some time with young gymnasts in Melbourne as well?
Yeah, I did. I went to 3 of the clubs, and we just basically the whole time, well, besides signing autographs, we did Q&As with the kids. Instead of doing a moderated Q&A with an adult asking me questions, we let the kids ask questions the whole time, where they asked me questions from what it was like to go to the Olympics to what my favorite kind of pizza is. So it's nice for them to be able to ask me whatever they want and to have that special time with them.
What is your favorite kind of pizza?
Ooh, it just depends, but usually just cheese pizza.
Cheese, just plain cheese, yeah. I like a few anchovies maybe on top.
I don't like anchovies, no.
The other thing I'd like to thank you for is for sharing your coach with the Australian national team, because we really appreciate his great work.
Oh, Mihai is awesome. I'm so excited to see what he does with Gymnastics Australia. He is, in my opinion, the best strength and conditioning coach in the whole entire world. So I know he's working really hard on helping the girls stay really strong.
So when he's here working with the Australians, do you just slack off and eat cheese pizza?
Well, right now I'm actually not training, so I've been traveling a lot lately, but I do eat cheese pizza, yeah.
Cool. Thanks for your time. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
And a big thanks there to James Sherry as well, with our very special guest and also Ambassador Ali Raisman, the American superstar gymnast. Results through. Australia has picked up bronze here at the World Cup Melbourne. Michael Marcia has done enough to slip in and stay in the bronze position after he was first cab off the rank. But the 2 Chinese competitors, Sam, dominating there with points over 14.
Absolutely. As we said at the top, China and Japan were the ones to beat. Michael Marcia with a really, really clean routine. And you can see there with a gap of only 0.066 to 4th that the cleanness of his routine is what's got him a bronze medal today, as we see the replay of some of his work. So to give you a reference, just bending your knees 10 or 15 degrees is a 0.1 deduction. So the athlete that was in 4th, perhaps ruining some small errors, but take nothing away from Michael. was a really, really clean routine from him. So if he can build a little bit more difficulty into that, he could push himself up to world-class kind of standard. And he should be really, really pleased with that. Trains really, really hard, does Michael, consummate professional, but we see the Chinese athletes and their expert parallel bar work now.
So this is our gold medal performance that we saw here tonight, and the difficulty of this routine was just way up there.
The Wu Sha Wing from China was outstanding, wasn't it?
Just showing how good these Chinese gymnasts are on this apparatus.
And rightly so. He competed in second last and was just able to overtake the Chinese competitor Tan Di, and 14.833 was an impressive finals performance when you think that he, in qualifying, Sam, 14.733, so 0.1 better than in qualification, and the pressure of finals, he handled it very well.
Absolutely, he did, and that's exactly what you want to do. Get yourself into the final, feel comfortable with the apparatus, get yourself into a good position in that final, and then come out and do better. So he's done everything there.
Not too far away from the medal ceremony as rotation 2 has finished here. Let's head to the celebrations and hear the big cheer from the Australian crowd as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the medal ceremony for parallel bars. And please welcome our medal presenters. Presenting our medals, we have Dong Qianghua from our men's FIG judge and parallel bar supervisor. Holger Olbrecht, FIG men's technical delegate. And our event ambassador, Ali Raceman. And the winner of the bronze medal, representing Australia, Michael Messia. And the winner of the silver medal, representing China, Tan Di. And the winner of the gold medal and the 2018 Melbourne World Cup champion on parallel bars, representing China, Wu Xiaoming. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthem of China.
All right, and that is the medal performance and ceremony there from the men's parallel bars, and the performance of those three on the podium was outstanding, as we see Australia's own Mitchell Morgan's in bronze position. He'll be happy with that, as will the home crowd right here at Hisense Arena in Melbourne, Sam.
Absolutely. Australian athletes turning it on for a home crowd. Christopher Emke set them absolutely crazy. The crowd will be a little disappointed. They paid for a full seat and they're only sitting on the front edge. It's been absolutely amazing. And we do have in the next rotation the leader from qualifying in the men's horizontal bar final, as that graphic comes up on your screen. Mitchell Morgans and Michael Macia, who just won a bronze medal, is coming in second. So hopefully those boys can put in strong performances. And Alexide Menetchi's leading in the women's floor, so can't wait for those.
All right, well, 3 apparatus finals down. 2 rotations have just been completed. So much more to come from Hisense Arena in Melbourne. Hope you're enjoying the Gymnastics World Cup live from Hisense Arena in Melbourne.
Another very special guest joining me out here on the floor. Glenn Rizzo, it's great to have you along here today. Yeah, it's been really great to know about you. So it's a last before the session and watching such great gymnastics here today. I know, and how's that? We've got the gold medal on the vault. We get a bronze on the P bars. We've got the high bar coming up shortly, and that's why you get to talk to us. High bar, who are you favouring? I mean, did a couple of yeah? Yeah, definitely. They've qualified one too, so hopefully they can nail their routines and yeah, hopefully get some good results. 12 years ago, you scored gold in the World Cup.
And this is the highlights from the bronze medal performance. The medal ceremony is just moments finished, and it is Australia's own Mitchell Morgans who picked up bronze in the parallel bars, and a great performance in front of an Australian crowd here in Melbourne. And the Australian took the lead after his opening performance and then held on to a bronze after some pretty strong performances from the competitors that came after him, Sam, but he really did set the bar high.
Absolutely, he did. And high bar will be his next event, but parallel bars was brilliant. These Chinese gymnasts, they actually, produce a lot of pressure on the athletes, knowing that, there's these super impressive athletes to come and I've really got to do a great routine. And obviously that's what Michael set his sights on. Just great to see. It was fantastic work.
And both of the Chinese athletes getting over 14.5 in their marks. It was the Chinese athlete Wu Xiaoming, 14.833, 0.1 better than in his qualification score. And the silver medal went to Tan Di from China, 14.500, and then Australia's Michael Macia picking up the bronze medal, 13.866, and he led the field in the men's parallel bars final and held on to that bronze in the end, only winning by 0.066,
I think it was.
Exactly, in the scoring from the Chinese Taipei athlete. So what a magnificent performance there from the Australian, and as well the 2 Chinese athletes just dominating the parallel bars. Live action from Hisense Arena. Let's get the final rotation and the 2 final competitions for this individual apparatus right here in the World Cup Gymnastics Melbourne.
Starting on women's floor. Representing New Zealand, Isabella Brett. Representing India, Aruna Budareddy. Representing Australia, Alexandra Eve. Representing Singapore, Zhang Jian. Representing New Zealand, Estella Matthewson. Representing Slovenia, Tiasha Kiselev. Representing Malaysia, Farah Ann Abdul Hadi. And representing Brazil, Isabel Barbosa. And starting on the high bar, representing New Zealand, David Bishop. Representing Lithuania, Robert Vogel. Representing New Zealand, Caleb Ellis. Representing Australia, Michael Messia. Also from Australia, Mitchell Morgan. Representing Singapore, Lim Kesan. Representing Japan, Kazuyuki Takeda. And also from Japan, Hidetaki Miyachi.
And there it is, the last 16 gymnasts in the 2 last finals for the World Cup Melbourne. Hope you've enjoyed the action over the last 2 days. If you've just joined us for today, you are witnessing 5 great apparatus individual finals. Yesterday there were 5 magnificent men's floor, men's vault, men's pommel horse, and the men's ring and the women's uneven bars. Still two to come here in the men's horizontal bar and the women's floor. And as we about to start the men's horizontal bar featuring 2 Australians, we can welcome into the commentary box Philip Rizzo, and he joins us alongside Monette Russo and also Sam Offord. So Phil Rizzo, and he joins us at the right time for the horizontal, or high bar as it is known. He was a 2006 world champion and the Australians' first world champions. Phil, welcome to commentary. And what an exciting time, especially to be looking at the top 8 that have made it through qualification for something that you would know very well, the high bar.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting final, especially with some of the gymnasts stepping it up, you know, trying to do harder routines from the qualification. So it'll be interesting to see how the gymnasts are able to perform, and hopefully they do well and we get a good result.
And Monette, having a look at the women's floor, we're looking at some of the competitors there. Alexandra Eade wasn't too happy with the way that she performed earlier.
She will be looking to redeem herself on this apparatus, but our first competitor on the floor is Charlotte Ryan here.
Isabella Brett from New Zealand.
Brett. So starting her first tumble, double back tuck. You'll see the gymnasts performing not only acrobatic elements on the women's floor, but artistry as well, and that is a large component that they get scored on here. So the judges want to see their personality and expression come out in their routines. Using the whole floor. The third tumbling line here. Back double twist. So keeping it nice and relatively simple, nice and clean routine. Coming up to the last tumbling line. Gymnasts are not allowed to stand for more than 2 seconds into the corner, otherwise they do incur a deduction. And a great solid performance from the first gymnast for the women's floor finals from the New Zealand.
So Isabella Brett, she qualified in 7th spot and has just kicked off this 3rd rotation. So 2 more apparatus finals to finish off the World Cup Melbourne. And Philip, a main difference between the men's and women's floor routine is obviously the music.
Yeah, definitely. The guys don't have music and the girls have to.
Do you wish they did?
The guys,
Or would you have liked it?
yeah, but I think it'd be a bit hard to you know, decide on a song.
Narrowing it down to one's pretty difficult, isn't it? A few good tunes out there.
Yeah, maybe top 10.
Top 10 as we now start the high bar final, and it is another New Zealander in David Bishop.
Starting with a Yamawaki here, so the straight body over the top. So you'll see the gymnasts having to do flight elements like these. as well as what we call in-bar work. And then turns, so starting with 3 release moves. Pretty impressive there, Phil, to start.
Yeah, he's starting off really well, catching all his releases. Nice stoop half there.
So that's that in-bar work we were talking about, the Stolder. It's a relatively simple routine. Impressive, but simple to date. A bit more of that in-bar work. Slight hesitation at the top there. The judges will hammer in 4. So he'll just wind up into the dismount now. Double layup with full turn and manages to stick the landing. So good clean start. Might not be difficult enough to feature in the medals, but good to get off to a good start, Phil.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely hit his routine, and so now he's left it to the judges to give him a score and for the other gymnasts to try and beat him.
Great camera work there of his grip. As Phil said, he was successful. Look at the great reaction there of his catch. Even he was impressed of himself with his releases and catches. Great camera work, picking up his reaction. He's looking at the live. That's him on the corner, looking at the replay, just like we are and you are watching at home.
So every time he steps along the bar like that without doing a skill, that's actually a deduction as well. So you've got to construct your routine so that you don't have to have those, but good first routine from Dave.
Now back to the women's floor. Second routine, she qualified in 8th, Aruna Buddha Reddy from India.
First strong tumbling pass. So double back, full twist, so full in. The women are really starting to ramp up their difficulty on this apparatus, showing us that they're strong competitors here. So doing her combination pass. Touche full. Also another trend we're starting to see is that a lot of the female gymnasts will use leaps as a connection bonus. So not just relying on their tumbling passes to get them the difficulty. Jump double turn. Again, using the floor as part of her artistry. Front layout full, showing her front tumbling pass and just a slight step on the landing there. And a solid performance from the Indian gymnast here, completing the second gymnast in these finals. So 2 solid routines to start off the competition is what we love to see here.
And the competition will feature Australia's Alexandra Eade. Highlights here for Aruna Buddha Reddy. Second competitor in this women's floor final.
Here we can just see her doing a back double pike and landing a little forward with her shoulders down, so taking a big step there will incur a big deduction for her.
And head back to the high bar now with Robert Tavogo.
Qualifying in 5th position. So we'll need improvement on his qualifying routine to get himself into the finals. Starting with some of that turning work as a requirement, then into Yamawaki, catching at full stretch, so good start. Nice straight body to Kachev, catching full stretch, adding the half turn to the straddle. Good stoop in there, needing to go straight to handstand, so good execution here thus far.
He's a very tall gymnast, so he makes the high bar look very good.
He's made that dismount look very good as well. Double layup, full turn, slight pike down, but good execution, and I think that'll see him in front of the first competitor, David Bishop, after that one.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy with that performance. Just not sure if it'll be good enough for the medals. If the other gymnast hit, he might not be able to get into the medals.
Well, Robert Trevogo there getting a hug from his coach, and that finishes off his campaign as well, as we are into the 2 finals for men and women. That will end the World Cup Melbourne competition, but he picked up a bronze yesterday in the men's floor. So he will be walking away with a bronze medal. Has he done enough to pick up another medal here in this final apparatus? He is the second competitor as we head back to the women's floor final and wait until this introduction. It's Australia's own Alexandra Eade.
And she qualified in first place coming into these finals, so she is such a strong competitor on this apparatus. You can hear the crowd all getting behind her. Watch out for her first tumbling pass. It is a huge tumbling pass. Beautiful double layout. Such a strong gymnast. Small hop on that landing, but staying inside the floor.
It's the way it's going, Minette, isn't it? Just big, powerful tumbling on the women's floor nowadays.
Absolutely, they've picked it up on their difficulty, and not only is this apparatus about the artistry, but it's about the power and the strength used for these tumbling passes. A nice, clean back layout double twist. Giving a little smile to the judges there. Dancing away right into a tumbling line. Nice, back double pike. And a strong, solid performance from Alex Eade. She'll be very pleased with herself here and putting that out on the floor, recovering from the beam final she had and coming out with that brilliant routine.
So, great moment there from Eade. High five from the coaching staff, a hug, appreciation of what she's just put out on the floor there.
As we see the replay, she'll feel pretty good about that. She wouldn't have been happy with that beam fall earlier in their routine and then the fall on the dismount. So just to get through a clean routine, she'll be happy. But if she's qualified in first, put a clean routine down now, she's every chance for a medal here.
So the third competitor on the women's floor final apparatus. Eade from Australia, that was impressive, Monette.
Absolutely, we see that huge last tumbling pass, double pike, landing that perfectly.
We can head back over to the horizontal bar in the final. Second New Zealand gymnast, and the third competitor, Kayla Bellis.
Qualifying in 8th position. Just fingertipping that one.
Nice callbacks.
Double back over the bar and having to re-grasp again. He's done the difficult release work, so we'll work into the in-bar and turn work as he finishes a routine, winding up. The dismount, small hop on the landing, or a step even.
He was happy with the routine that he's put out there. Feels he can't have done any more as he just gets a high five there from Michael Marcia.
So
He's had a consistent, do you think, World Cup Melbourne, Kayla Bellis?
I think he has. He's put himself into a couple of finals. We saw him in the vault earlier tonight, so he'll be happy. It's great exposure for him, and obviously New Zealand will be leading up and building into a Commonwealth Games campaign as well. So brilliant for him to be able to just get finals exposure in a packed out stadium. So no doubt Caleb will form part of the New Zealand contingent at the World. He's been here at the World Cup rather, but he'll be at the Commonwealth Games, I'm sure. So he'll be all the better for performing in a couple of finals here at the World Cup.
It's good to see that he's performing and doing it consistently.
As we head back now to the floor, Singapore's Zheng Jian.
So she was actually a reserve coming into these finals, and with Georgia Godwin, the Australian, having to pull out due to injury, she's come in, so just putting her hands down there on her double pike, tumbling pass. So that will incur a large deduction. Drawing off her change leg leaps. Requirement to have 2 sets of leaps in the floor routine for the women's. Front tumbling pass, handspring front layout full. And the full wolf turn on the floor. Third tumbling pass into a stag leap.
There you go. That performance from the lady from Singapore means we're at the halfway mark of the women's floor final. And let's get a result before we see what her result is. And Alexandra Eade out in front with 13.333. 2 lower scores there, Monette, but we've still got some class to come. But that is a great start there from Alexandra Eade with over 13.
Absolutely, she put out a solid floor routine for the rest of the field, and we still have some strong competitors to go, but I think she should be up there in contention.
As we go back, and from one great news from Alexandra Eade, let's head to Michael Marcia, fresh from bronze off the men's parallel bars.
Can't wait for this, Michael. Second place qualifying. Hopefully can reproduce a similar routine and keep himself in the medal position.
Nice do path there.
Skill made famous by you, Phil, especially in Australian circles. In your World Championship winning routine. Started to catch everything into the straight body to catch Ev. Straddle with half turn, so keeping a nice flow and rhythm to that, which is important, isn't it?
Yeah, he's definitely a clean gymnast and makes it look nice. Winding up to the dismount now.
What do you think, Phil? Perhaps nice routine, but those 2 steps on landing may cost him with some more difficult routines to come, I feel.
Yeah, definitely he's let the door open there, but still a good solid performance, good consistency. He's very clean, so I think he's giving himself a really good shot to get a medal.
And that was Michael Marcia. Following him will be Mitchell Morgans, who's going to make it Australia one after another. Just hear that replay. Has he done enough? We're going to head to a scoreboard, get you an update on what's happening so far, but this is his dismount.
I think he'll be up near the top of the leaderboard for now, but as we said, Mitchell Morgan's the leading qualifier to come. A couple of Japanese gymnasts right at the end of the final. So there are some big routines to come, so we'll see once Michael's score comes through
And
where he's at.
He done enough to get over 13, do you think, on that one, Marcia? So 13.533. He'll want to get towards a 13 if he's going to challenge for a medal. And so Michael Marcia means that we're halfway through the men's high bar, and we're back to our 5th competitor, Stella Matthewson, in the women's floor.
So just coming out of the floor there on her first tumbling line. So as you can see, the white line around the floor, the gymnast must stay within those lines. Otherwise, just putting your foot out a tiny bit will incur a 0.1 deduction up to a 0.3 And then depending on how far you jump out of the white lines, it can go even higher. A nice second tumbling pass, double pike. And the wolf turn we see again, very popular for the gymnasts on this apparatus.
12 by 12 metres this floor.
Just staying in the floor there.
Maximum routine can be 1 minute and 30 seconds for each gymnast.
Showing beautiful leaps there. Judges really want to see that all of the leaps hit that 180 degree in their split position. Front layout full to a front pike. And a strong performance from the New Zealand gymnasts.
And has she done enough? She'll need better than 13.333, Monette, if she's going to take over the leader at the moment, which is Australia's Alexandra Eade.
So her difficulty wasn't as high as Alexandra Eade, but she did perform quite a nice routine here, so her execution score should be up there. Here we see the replay of that back double pike, just a small hop on the landing.
And there's Michael Marcia's score, 13.700. So that's enough to take him into the lead so far, with 4 more gymnasts to come in the men's high bars. But he's happy. He has taken the lead with that, Phil.
Yeah, he's definitely happy with that score. I think he's very surprised about that.
Well, he's now going to watch closely because his Australian teammate Mitchell Morgans is on the high bar.
So Mitch's got a lot of difficulty in this routine. Big releases, all one after the other. Yeah. And here he goes.
He might connect these releases too, which will be awesome.
Come on, Mitch. So double layout, full turn over the bar. Then the double layout.
A little bit messy over there. Keep going.
Putting that one in a beautiful position to catch with nice straight arms and the tuck with full turn. And that made my heart skip 2 or 3 beats. He's got through the hard stuff. He's going to be clean on this second half of the routine.
Nice stoop.
Well executed. So Dismet now is going to take the landing in his legs, in his quads, and just stick this one. And he has!
Awesome work.
So I think he knows, Phil, just looking at his reaction a little bit, that big bend in the arms and the back out of one of those release moves is going to take some deduction away from him, but hopefully it's enough.
Yeah, definitely. If he would have caught, he definitely would have been in the first place, but now he's given Michael Marcia a bit of an opportunity with that catcher with the bent arms to score higher than him, but hopefully he'll get a good score.
And that's the voice there of world champion, Australia's former world champion back 2006, Phil Rizzo, joining us in commentary with Monette Russo, the Olympian and Commonwealth Games medalist, and also Sam Offord, who has picked up a gold in the 2010 Commonwealth Games in the ring. So my 3 experts, very qualified and happy with what they've seen from our 2 Australian performances. So we head back to the floor, and Kiselev is actually a reserve that has been called in to take over from Australia's Georgia Godwin, who's pulled out with injury.
Yeah, so another great moment for her. She did win gold on the vault, so she's a very strong gymnast. Nice first tumbling pass, round off double back. Quite strong dramatic music for the Slovenian gymnast. Back layout 1.5. Showing off her artistry here. Into her turn element. Double turn, so just Slight wobble out of that, tried to disguise it, but I think the judges will pick up on that one. So her Touche full leap. Front layout full, small hop on the landing. So a solid performance from Kiselev here this evening, and another chance to compete in a final, so she'll be very pleased to have put that routine out there.
Yes, and she was very emotional yesterday. She took her gold medal. It meant a lot, the lady from Slovakia. She picked up the women's vault, and today she's had two great opportunities. Fortunately, that was after Georgia Godwin from Australia has pulled out. Just as important, as Monette has said throughout the coverage today and yesterday, being a reserve, you have to be switched on and ready to go at any moment.
Absolutely, and she's done that very well here throughout this competition at the 2018 World Cup. The big congratulations from the rest of the girls competing, so great to see that camaraderie amongst the gymnasts.
And the score just coming through. Mitchell Morgans by .066 has taken the lead from fellow Australian athlete Michael Marcia. And that's a close one at the top, but you must be happy, Phil, to see it's two Australians battling it out.
Definitely. It's awesome having top two Australians in there, and hopefully they can keep it.
So Lim from Singapore now on the high bar, third last competitor. What can he do? What can he threaten? Needs to be 13.5 and above if he's going to even threaten the two Australians.
A relatively short routine here. Go through his work quickly. Double 8 at the end, so that one will not have enough difficulty to challenge two Australians at the top, but nevertheless, he's done a clean routine in the final.
Yeah, today they've everyone's hitting their high bar routine, so it's really good to see.
I think the big test is going to be the two Australians at the top, as we see a replay of Singapore athlete here, but the two Japanese gymnasts do have big difficulty, don't they, Phil? And they have the potential to catch our two Australians at the top, so that's going to be the battle right at the end of this World Cup.
Yeah, definitely. I spoke to the coach this morning, and he's going to add the difficulty in his routine today, so obviously they've seen the routines before, and they'll know that they'll have to add more difficulty if they want to beat the Australians.
So that was the sixth competitor in the men's high bar final, Lim Karsan from Singapore. As we head back to the women's floor final, the second last competitor, Farah Ann Abdul Hadi from Malaysia.
First tumbling pass, 2.5 front tuck and stepping out of the floor there, but she's always got a great smile on her face when competing, which we love to see. Back double tuck. So just some deductions on the landings here. Doing that double turn with the leg up. May not have got that one paid, as she kind of did fall out of that and took a couple of steps. So it'll be up to the judges whether they do pay that skill. Again, showing off her dance right in the corner. Round off double twist. Slight legs apart, so she will incur a deduction there. Toujours. And a clean routine to finish that off. For the Malaysian gymnast. Not a huge amount of difficulty in that routine, but you know, like we said in finals again and again, it's about staying on your feet, staying on the apparatus.
So second last performer from Malaysia, and we can guarantee you that Alexandra Eade from Australia will pick up a medal. We just don't know which colour it will be. She's currently on 13.333 with Abdul Hadi's score still to come through, and Barbosa from Brazil. And one of those could snatch the lead, or we could see Eade who was third on the women's floor, stay in the lead as we head back to the men's high bar. And this man on your screen, Tazuyuki Takira, has had a very, very full-on program, making all of the finals.
Yeah, so he'll be a little bit tight today, but I reckon he'll be able to do a good routine here. Starts off with a Yamawaki, and he's going to do an awesome release soon. He's going to be doing a straight Kovacs double twist, so watch out for this release.
Just the full twist in the tuck position. So done some release work. That's nice poise at the top, but perhaps a little bit of hesitation. See what the judges say. Stoop half, so and a hot full turn. So building a bit of difficulty, but perhaps not to the extent of the Australians, but he's doing it very cleanly. Double twisting, double layer, and then almost into the splits. That was an amazing save in that dismount. So not perhaps the difficulty that we thought we might see from Takeda. And I wonder if that's enough to keep Mitchell and Michael at the top.
Well, after the second last performer, we do know at least, again, Mitchell Morgans will be in the medal count as well. Marcia will have a nervous wait to see what this score is here from Takira. And we know Eid on the women's floor. They're both going at the same time, these two apparatus finals, the men's high bar and the women's floor. So a nervous wait for some of our Australian gymnasts at Hisense Arena here in Melbourne. And this is the scores so far in the horizontal bar. It's Mitchell Morgans out in front.
Michael Marcia in second, as you can see, 0.066 behind. It's actually the smallest deduction that you can get is a 0.1, so that's actually just a difference in the averaging of those different execution judges. So tight competition.
Head back to the women's floor, and it is the final competitor. And what does the Brazilian gymnast have in her final apparatus?
Well, we did see Isabel Barbosa come up she was the 8th competitor in beam finals, and she came away with the silver medal. So we know she can perform under pressure.
She will need to get over 13.5 if she's going to knock out Australia's Alexandra Eid for the gold.
Showing us a nice clean routine so far. That second tumbling line, double pike. Touche half. Coming up to her third tumbling pass here. 1.5 front layout full, and just a very low landing there, managing to save that one. However, she will incur a large deduction. Finishing with the back double tuck. A few small steps on the landing, so just some minor deductions throughout the routine, but a very solid performance from the Brazilian.
Well, she is the final competitor in the women's apparatus final for these last 2 days of finals action right here at Hisense Arena in Melbourne. Barbosa from Brazil. She will need greater than 13.333 if she is going to take the gold medal off Australia's Alexandra Eid.
I think as we see her replay here that she had a few deductions on her landings. One of her landings quite low, landing in a deep squat position. So I think we are safe to say that Alex will definitely come away with the medal, and I think it will be the gold.
Hopefully it is Eid in the lead after this one. It's a great way to finish for the Australian contingent. We've got, as we see there, Alexandra Eid still in first place. That last floor score still to come through.
As we see now, a very nervous wait for Eid. But again, what about the lady from Slovakia, again, the reserve, and has come in and sits in second, so she's guaranteed a medal as well. Just not sure what colour as we go back to the final competitor of World Cup Melbourne, and this is an exciting time.
Absolutely, so Miyachi, huge difficulty, this skill that Phil mentioned earlier. Double layout with double twist over the top of the bar to catch. A lot of people do this as their dismount. It's hard enough to do it that. He scored 13.8 in qualifying. If he does that, he'll take the lead. Let's see what he's got. Here it comes.
Nice.
That is pretty amazing.
Let's see if he adds another Kovacs in here. So he's added that in from the qualification.
So kept it really clean, hasn't he, Phil? As well as adding the difficulty, he's done it almost to perfection.
Nails it.
Well, I think that will be a very well-deserved gold medal for Miyachi.
Definitely. He's pumped about that. And what a great way to finish the competition.
Absolutely, that is world-class horizontal bar work. You see, the first skill that he did, which he is one of the only gymnasts to do it, was harder than his dismount. In the dismount, he did a double out with only one turn, and that release move right at the start that I hope we'll see a replay of. He puts two twists, but does it at the height of the bar to be able to catch it. It's simply amazing.
And another interesting thing is that he actually finds it easier to do it straight body rather than tucked.
There it is, two twists, two somersaults, barely sees the bar, wraps his hands around it, and then does what's probably for him the easiest stuff. One turn.
And we've never seen that in Australia before qualification. And in terms of Phil, when we look at new skills and the person that makes it up, it's actually named after them, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Goes into our Bible with the code of points, as it's called. So that's where all the skills that gymnasts can choose from are put into and given a value. So that's one of the highest value skills that you can do. So that's why he's pumped in front of an Australian crowd. Up last, as we've seen so much in these apparatus finals, up last and producing the goods. So I think he'll be a deserving gold medal winner.
So that will be a big moment for him. Smiles all around. Just behind him over his right shoulder, you can see Alexandra Eade. And those two passing each other, it looks like they are going to get the gold medals on our last two apparatuses as well. We're following now Alexandra Eade, and there's the news coming through. Australia has claimed gold in the women's floor, 13.333 from Alexandra Eade.
A very well-deserved performance, and to take out the gold medal on the women's floor, Alexandra Eade, she'll be very, very happy with herself. Great to see that we're showing some world-class routines and getting gold.
And, well, she's done it again. The lady from Brazil, her last performance has produced a medal as well. She picks up another one today, and she will be walking away with the silver in the Wen's Flom. And here's our gold medalist, Alexandra Eade, just taking off her ankle strapping, and she will be very delighted with the news. She's got to get ready for the medal ceremony. And the three of you, just that moment that you've put that performance out, it's all finished. As we can go now to the men's, and there you go. It is a huge 14.600 from Miyachi.
And can't take anything away from him. That's a high quality routine, deserved the score that he got and definitely deserves the first place. But for us, I suppose, as Australian fans, Mitchell Morgans and Michael Messiah in second and third put down their routines and put them down really well. And so great to see them in the medals leading into Com Games, and hopefully they can continue on with that.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm impressed with is the consistency. So they've just done two good routines in qualifications and then in finals now. So they're going to take that experience with them and then hopefully produce a good result at Commonwealth Games.
Talking about great performances, here was Alexandra Eade. She was outstanding in the women's floor, and she was the third performer in the women's floor final. And her score of 13.333 Monet means she walks away with the gold medal.
Yeah, and we can see here on the highlights the routine giving a nice wave to the crowd. Kiselev.
And what a moment for her as well, coming in as the reserve for Australia's Georgia Godwin, who pulled out of her apparatus finals today. And reserve one, and she's walked away with another medal, bronze today, and that was after picking up a gold in the women's vault yesterday. So a very successful World Cup Melbourne for her.
Absolutely, she's had a strong campaign here, so we'll definitely be seeing her again on the circuit.
And what a great night for the Aussies, and what a great night for young Aussie gymnastic fans. And there have been plenty in the crowd, and it's been a wonderful crowd on this Sunday afternoon in Melbourne at Hisense Arena. And the young fans that have been brought along by the parents, by friends, by coaches, have thoroughly enjoyed the atmosphere, and it just seems to be getting better and better. The World Cup leg in Melbourne, we saw it last year, and there is 2 more to come in this World Cup series that have been guaranteed for Melbourne, and this is the gold medal performance in the high bars.
Absolutely, and just seeing this second half of routine from Miyachi there. Never much more than that. Stick the dismount, almost celebrated too soon and put himself off balance, but that was probably one of the highlights of the competition for mine. Fantastic world-class high bar performance, but as Phil alluded to, consistent performances from our Australians, and it's a great thing to see here in their hometown.
And Phil, in terms of the quality you've seen in qualifications and the finals here across the men's and women's performances, have you been happy with what you've seen?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good start to the year, and if the Australians can keep producing the consistency and the quality, we're going to have a good year ahead of us.
So great access we can have here, and we thank all the gymnasts and the coaching staff and the support staff allowing us to go behind the scenes, and rightly so. He's just won a gold medal, but he's got to get his own water. Don't worry about that. That's how grounded we are with our athletes. He's happy, isn't he?
Yeah, you've got to take care of yourself. If you want water, you've got to go and get it. But we see a replay of our bronze medalist here, Michael Masia. So credit goes to Gymnastics Australia and everyone involved for putting together a fantastic event over the last 2 years. As you said, Shannon, it's going to be here in 2019 and 2020 also, but they deserve all the accolades. It's been great. You talk to the athletes and they love the event and how it's put on, so congratulations to them.
So just a reminder, we're in the World Cup Series event circuit, so this is the Melbourne leg. It's over a 2-year period with 2 more legs to come, and the best 3 results on each individual apparatus will give you a World Cup champion. So with only 2 more to go, we look forward to bringing you all the action as this World Cup leg continues.
Absolutely, those rankings will be updated. You get ranking points depending on where you finish, whether you make a final or not, and whether you win the apparatus or get a medal. So great to see that replay from Mitch Morgan's there. So the rest of that circuit to follow. He's sending a message back home. Enjoying himself the last bit of time that he's got here in Melbourne.
So Mitchell Morgans and Michael Marcia being congratulated by fellow gymnasts, and Emily Little there just passing on her congratulations, and we hope to see her back in action shortly as the fans. And Phil Rizzo, we want to thank you for joining us on the coverage as well, and you've been able to give us a great insight as to how you look at things, and you have been able to give us such enjoyment over what we've seen with you and your performances. What's it like now to be a spectator?
Yeah, it's interesting being a spectator. I still get nervous when I look at the guys competing, especially the Australians, because I want them to do well and I know them personally, so it is a bit nerve-wracking, but I enjoy it too.
Well, we enjoy having you, and we enjoy watching you around as well. A lot of people love seeing you, meeting up with you, getting photos, getting autographs, so we appreciate you stopping by. So Phil Rizzo, the former Australian, absolute superstar of Australian gymnastics, as we'll now take both medal ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the medal ceremony for high bar. Please welcome our medal presenters. And our medal presenters, we have Nadal Ali Youssef, men's FIG judge and high bar supervisor. Holger Albrecht, FIG men's technical delegate. And our event ambassador, Ali Raceman. And the winner of the bronze medal, representing Australia, Michael Masia. And the winner of the silver medal, representing Australia, Mitchell Morgan. And the winner of the gold medal and the 2018 Melbourne World Cup champion on high bar, representing Japan, Hidetaki Miyachi. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthem of Japan.
A very special moment there as a tear just starts to come down the cheek of our gold medalist in the men's high bar, Miyachi, with 14.600, and standing alongside him very proudly in silver is Mitchell Morgans from Australia, 13.766, and the bronze going to Michael Marcia, 13.700, so only 0.066 separating silver and bronze. And Manette, very special moment, 2 Australians on the podium.
Absolutely, great to see that we are getting our Australian gymnasts up onto the podium and proving that we are a force to be reckoned with.
And Sam, though, Miyachi, a class above everybody with that performance.
He was. He's the one to chase. You know, that's a fantastic effort, and you know that's exactly what we want to see. If we can bring that high-class gymnastics here to Australia, show our athletes exactly what needs to be done, they can emulate that, hopefully.
And a very special night for the fans that are here at Hisense Arena, because the final medal presentation will be for the women's floor, and not too far away, Advance Australia Fair will ring out around Hisense Arena in Melbourne to conclude the Gymnastics World Cup Melbourne for 2018, and Alexandra Eade, the Australian, the only competitor to get over 13 on the floor.
Absolutely, goes to show that she's always a strong competitor on this apparatus, and again here tonight she was just ahead of the field and proving that she is one that can really perform on this apparatus. And of course she'll go away now and try and include more difficulty in her routines coming up to Commonwealth Games.
And let's head now to what will be a very special moment for Eade and the fans here at Hisense Arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a medal ceremony for women's floor. Now please welcome our medal presenters. Presenting our medals, we have Zhu Jia, a FIG women's judge and women's floor supervisor. Johanna Gratt, FIG women's technical delegate. And our event ambassador, Ali Raceman. And the winner of the bronze medal, representing Slovenia, Tjaša Kiselev. And the winner of the silver medal, representing Brazil, Isabel Barbosa. And the winner of the gold medal, and the 2018 Melbourne World Cup champion on women's floor, representing Australia, Alexandra Eade. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthem of Australia.
And a huge cheer, and it is left for the final medalist, and rightly so. It is Australia's Alexandra Eade, and talking about Australia's, what a great night for Australia's Commonwealth Games chances as we finish tonight's action. 5 medals to Australian athletes, including a gold for Christopher Remkes, and it was a bronze to Michael Marcia in the parallel bars, silver to Mitchell Morgans in the men's high bar, bronze to Michael Marcia in the men's high bar, and gold to Alexandra Eade in the women's floor. A huge thank you to everyone involved. Hope you've enjoyed all the action from the World Cup Melbourne. We'll do it all again in 12 months' time. My thanks to Monette Rosso and to Sam Offord. I've been Shannon Byrne, and hopefully you've enjoyed the action on what has been 2 great days of finals action right here at Hisense Arena in Melbourne.